Welcome to Monday Night Clears episode 4, and I am Nixie, and I am
am Satoru. Sorry about
just completely cut me off. Wow. Well, yeah, you know, he's here. He's getting a bit more confident. We might have to put him down. And
Wow.
we have our now reoccurring guest turned co-host, Emma.
Yay! Hey yo!
She's back and she's got some new tricks maybe. But yeah, so this is going to be a late episode because we are recording this on Monday, and I don't know how editing that is going to be when we're supposed to be in Shiva a little bit later. But
Yeah.
Fine.
I'll try. And also, this episode is going to be slightly more annoying to edit due to some things, some things I hope you will see later. But, like, if I got lazy, don't worry about it. But this is probably a Tuesday evening clears, which usually goes a lot better than Monday night clears, but not this time. Especially not when you're trying to clear on Monday.
That's
But,
true.
Exactly.
yeah, so we're going to hit weekly reset on this one, but that's fine. Everyone knows if they're watching. I'll probably drop some messages to the people that are, like, talking it to me every week about this. But, like, what's new, guys?
We got the E7S down.
We did indeed. Satoru, how do you feel about E7S, the birds, being put to sleep?
I mean, pretty good about it. So we've killed it, twice now?
Yeah.
And after we got the stupid second portals down, that fight was dead. Like,
Mate, that fight is dead. We go in there and we look at it and we're like, eh.
Our
the
first
last
kill was
tornado
so
phase.
unsatisfying.
Wait,
the last
why?
tornado- Why was it unsatisfying? Tell us.
No, it was just like the kill we got was so unsatisfying. In the first, like, it was nice to down it, but it felt like, what? This is it? What?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
as I was about to say, the final phase tornado literally sucks.
I mean, I kind of like it as conceptually. I like it, but
Yeah, same.
as the final phase of that fight, I look at it and I'm like, it's essentially don't stand on top of each other,
Yeah, pretty much.
and you'll be okay.
Stack for healing, go back to do the exact same thing again.
Yeah, it feels like there should have been an extra twist there somewhere,
agreed.
but that entire fight, like, because of the weird ad phase in the middle and that phase being like super long at the end, it feels like it's a really short fight.
Yeah.
It does feel quite short, actually.
Which I don't know. Like
I quite
sometimes
like that,
we go.
actually.
I like it as well. It's like split up, and you only see like the mechanics like once each,
hmm
and it's a very conceptual fight. Like once you know what you're doing, it's very hard to have a run where it's like, oh well, like we just can't clear it.
Yeah. It's quite a good fight because the first phase, it's like, here's one of everything,
Hmm.
and then it's add phase, and then it's, okay, this next phase is all about light and dark. Can you deal with that? And then portals as well from the first phase.
Yeah.
And then the third phase is also the light and dark, but kind of like, that's it.
I mean, it feels like the boss is kind of like and dark and has like a lot of like. It feels less in control of the like mechanics, and it's just kind of throwing them out everywhere. But it ends up being like a really obvious like, especially as a tank. I literally look at my color, look at the ball, and I go, I don't take that one, Mop, and you do that, and
Yeah.
then move around. So it's kind of.
You know what would have made the second phase more interesting? The last phase, man.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how for tanks it's one or the other, depending on what color you get. You go take one or something like that.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if they did that as well, but for the DPS, it wasn't just like, all white go to this side, all black to that side. It'd have to be like, you'd have to adjust each time to be like, we need two black on this side and one white, or we need two white or one black, because the way the balls are going to line up.
Yeah, I just feel like that fight, they kind of played all of their cards, and then they got to the final phase, and they were kind of like, well, the portal phase is going to keep them busy for some time. Let's just throw like an easy thing at them at the end.
Yeah.
Fair.
And
Yeah, that makes
I'm
sense.
kind of okay with it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, I'm okay with it as well. It was a good
it-
fight. It's actually I quite enjoyed it actually.
I would say that it's now my favorite of the tier because of how once you have it down, it feels pretty satisfying to just go in there and do it because it's less like, are we gonna wipe to that final mechanic? It's instead like we could do this every time consistently because nothing really changes.
Yeah, it's
It feels less it feels more precise than the final phase of Rack Pasta.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, agreed. Like I like it because every time you go in there, you can pretty much do it exactly the same every time. There's no really adjusting except for like, for example, second portals. Oh, is it tanks and healers in front or are they behind? Like,
And do they have to swap or do they stay? It's
yeah,
it's controlled
most
chaos.
of it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I actually think that that's one of the downfalls of the fight in terms of being a third fight. If the other side portals were also randomly placed, it would become a lot.
That'd be a lot harder.
Yeah, but I think for being a boss that I was really not interested in because it is literally just a ball of birds.
But
I
the
am-
birds look like the birds kind of from Spirited Away, like the Ghibli
Mhm.
movie, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, mm-hmm.
They remind me of the paper birds.
They do in fact look like that.
They do it, yeah.
And I like it, but I will say that like when I go into a boss fight, I like to see this big imposing threat rather than just it's a bunch of birds and a little crystal. Like I don't know, like if it was like a dude floating around there summoning birds, I'd have been like, oh, that's pretty cool. But
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm a little bit like
Like the second fight in the first tier of Eden.
to a certain extent, yeah. E2S, but
E2S.
that was again another really conceptual fight where once you understood it, it was pretty much like, other than the server tick being actual hell in there,
Yeah.
like it was very much like, well, you know how the fight's going to go, you know when flares happen and all of that, and it's just like once you have it down, you can replicate it pretty easily.
Yeah.
So I guess they are very similar, which sort of makes sense. They're both thing, but it leads me to the thing though is we're now on the final fight of the tier, and it feels like this is kind of where all of their effort went.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first mechanic in the big like ice thing with the flares and everything, it's like, okay, I need to really think about that. And then you do like the second bit of mechanics, and then you get to the light rampant phase, and it's just like, okay, now I got to really think again. It's like, it feels like every other fight they were like, yeah, have like one or two mechanics, and you guys figure those out for like the next 10 minutes. And in this fight, they're like, oh, by the way, this is like a 14-minute fight, and every other mechanic is completely new.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, there's not really although like some of the mechanics are similar, the whole thing's basically you don't repeat anything from what I've seen, but like
I would say that the weird dragon phase in the middle and at the end are almost identical.
they are done differently, but they are almost identical.
Yeah,
Um,
it essentially
yeah.
is whether you're dealing with dodging AoEs or like stacking AoEs.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
I
then
like
like Invon in Tank Busters.
I quite like how hard they went on the whole mirror thing.
I think that is a very good decision, but I would say that the thing that disappoints me the most, it feels like the tanks have to position her less than would be normally appropriate, because she kind of just goes to the middle and goes, I'm doing a mechanic, woo!
Well, that's true, I guess.
Whereas in like Kefka, they would have a similar mechanic to the one wing thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you didn't turn him to face the right direction, there would be no safe spot.
Right.
So it was like that same mechanic, but instead of it being done like 3 times in succession, you would literally just like have to turn the boss to face a certain direction so that you would make the safe spot yourself.
I mean, mean, I get that the whole like making the stage by yourself, but at the same time, I like how it's like done with the mirrors, as
Yeah,
in like
no, it
where
is very cool.
it is very cool.
But it's just, I have a little bit of a problem with the final fight having so much independent boss movement because of the fact that at that stage, moving the boss is like the tank's job.
Hmm.
I know there's a little bit of it, like turning the boss around depending on whether you've got forward and back first for the second one.
Yeah,
And I think that is it's something that is very good, of course, especially considering the people that are doing the other mechanic at the same time don't really have the time to actually get behind the boss if it's on one of the edges. So
yeah,
it's a good mechanic, but I don't know. I feel like the fact that the boss does go back to the middle so often to just cast a mechanic means that there's less like, oh well, I'm the tank and I need the boss to be in this position at this part.
Yeah.
yeah.
And like there isn't really like, oh well, maybe if we move the boss to here, more people will get uptime during this phase. Like maybe if you could move the boss slightly south during the flare mechanic, or like to one of the sides during the flare mechanic, you could have everyone get to that zone to get knocked back and keep more uptime. But instead, she just goes to the middle, so it's kind of like everyone's losing uptime except for the range, which I don't know, it feels super weird.
Full range party.
Yeah.
I actually think that a full range party right now is probably optimal. Like maybe like summoner, red mage, machinist,
Dancer.
dancer would be like. I feel like you'd have less trouble on it. But then
But at
again,
the same
melee will
time,
be
there
free.
won't be as much challenge, and that's what we like.
Do we?
Yeah, of course we do. Otherwise, it would be boring. Like, it's
Yeah,
the same.
that's
Like,
true.
if it's the same how I felt the kill we got, the first kill on the fucking
Birds.
E7S. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it was so unsatisfying because
Because it just
it
died.
was so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have to think. I just stood there and spanked his ass. No, go away.
No, go.
Hang
Fine
on,
then.
who is this?
I don't know.
Random sprout man?
Oh, oh yeah.
He pulled out
So
his
he's
stick.
just gonna stand there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's a special guest to get him on the podcast. But yeah, and also this week we did the new, well, I say new, the most recent extreme trial. Sato
Yeah.
against his will, and Emma willingly.
Yeah, I got my bow.
I got my entire set.
Yeah, well, you've
I
done it
got
more
the
than I
worst
have.
headpiece not to mine.
Why don't they tell you the stats before you click open?
Oh, I know. Did I tell you about that, Emma?
No.
The stats for the Astro headpiece?
Mhm.
So, pretty much, I was like, oh, I don't have my headpiece from Savage yet. I'll just use this one because I can get more stat on it.
Yeah.
I buy my headpiece cover. I open it to find its pi A spell speed determination, and I'm just kind of
Oh.
like, I kind of want to kill myself.
Spell speed on Astrologian. Oh god,
I know.
Yeah.
that's
I was like,
beautiful.
I'll just stay with my crafted one, thank you.
I mean, technically you could get more direct hits in that.
I mean, true, but it's not worth it.
No, it's it's a big thing. But in terms of trials, I think that that one is like mechanically very interesting, where it's similar to how trials I feel should be, where it's like a set of like 6 mechanics that are repeated in different orders, so you have to think about like what you're doing at each stage of the fight.
Okay.
And then like after the weird ad phase thing where you kill the shield, it then transitions into this weird like secondary phase where he does that and one extra mechanic, which is the weird spinny thing. And
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like it. To be honest, that spinny thing, when I did it with Table, who is the guy who I brought in to carry our sorry butts through that fight.
Yeah.
When he told me how the mechanic was actually supposed to be dealt with, it felt incredible to do it. Like, there was literally zero stress. It was like, oh, well, you just sort of stand where the AoE just was, and
Yeah,
like,
that's it.
it's a really cool looking mechanic, though, and I feel like spinning self-placed AoEs is, like, kind of really cool.
Yeah.
It felt pretty like easy
Mm.
because
I mean-
there isn't a proper DPS check.
Oh, there is.
That's usually there's well, not really.
I've seen the Enrage, Emma.
You've
Yeah,
seen
well,
the Enrage?
yeah, with the black mage there, the cursed one.
The black
Oh my
mage with
God.
his item level 230 weapon.
Oh yeah, you sent me that.
Yeah, I mean he didn't have the 270 weapon when 230 weapon when we got to Enrage, but
Holy.
I saw a 9% Enrage on that fight, and I was sitting there on like my paladin, like no, on the Dark Knight and I was like, I think I'm gonna leave. It was a pleasure playing with you guys, but I think you guys need a little bit more practice.
We weren't even close to enrage.
No, we were like a whole cycle of mechanics off, even when we had like 15 deaths.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, like, 'cause other trials, like, have pretty tight DPS checks, so it's easier to wipe them or whatever.
Yeah.
As this one, like, I think most trials I've seen enrage on, at least, like, once or twice.
I will say that it feels a little bit like Tsukiyomi, where the fight just keeps going on way longer than you think it should, and you're like, oh, it's going to enrage now, we're on like 5%, that's really unfortunate, and then she just starts doing more mechanics, and it's like, hang on a minute,
Yeah.
like,
So it felt like it was a lot easier than a lot of trials.
Yeah, but I think
Way,
it was
way
kind of...
easier than Ruby Weapon.
I disagree. Well,
I don't know. Ruby Weapon was like really easy.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
I mean,
That's the thing.
I would say that Ruby Weapon, the biggest thing with, well, I would say that this fight was probably harder to progress because of how many mechanics are called really weird things that are not obvious, and they come out like 30 seconds after he's cast them. So it's like, I think someone in our party said he really tests the short-term memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Sana.
I think it was Santa, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that he's an interesting concept, and his mechanics are really like cool for what they are. And I think that progressing him blind without any help would have been like actually a challenge. I think the Ruby Weapon's first mechanic gives it like 100 times more difficulty than it actually deserves. Like I know
Yeah.
it's an easy dodge, but like when you're there and you see it coming out, you're like, oh, I'll just dodge here, and then you still get clipped by it, and you're like, where is the safe spot?
Yeah, well, I don't know. The thing is, like, it's not a bad fight. The latest trial, not at
Mhm.
all. It's actually a fun fight because there is like so much you have to do.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like a proper challenge DPS wise. It didn't
That
feel like you were
is-
pushing it like to the same, like, oh my god, we need to hurry in.
I mean, there is a reason for
DPS
that, though.
down and stuff, and it's like, eh.
There is a reason for that, and that is that everyone who was in our party, other than maybe Bill, is overgeared as hell and is progging on fights that are like meant for 10 item levels higher than it.
Yeah, but I'm not used to it being like that.
Yeah. I mean, it could have definitely been more difficult for sure, but I think that it's kind of meant to be a more casual experience, and like I reckon that if you're a player that only does extreme trials and like normal modes, I think that fight takes you like a good couple of weeks to down.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
And in Party Finder, I think that fight, it's sketchy as hell because like even one person standing in a slightly wrong position can cause a lot of problems. Like
Mhm.
when I was party finding in a farm party, one of the later stack markers I may have been max melee on, and
Oops.
Let's just say maybe the scholar died.
Yeah.
Rip Scholar.
I was hitting the boss. Paladin DPS matters. Especially
Yeah.
considering I've got AFK for like that entire shield phase.
Yeah.
Where I'm blocking. Oh, I didn't tell you guys. The first time we cleared it, I clicked all of my cooldowns on and started blocking the shield, and Bill couldn't click on the shield properly. So I was the only one blocking it, and he got full uptime on the shield.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
we were there
remember
for that.
Oh,
round.
you guys were there for that one. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought
we were
that
there for
was
that one.
I thought that was earlier in the day.
No.
No,
Okay.
that was our first clear.
That
Not
makes
yours.
sense. Okay. I had like multiple first clears that day, I'm gonna be honest.
It was
Yeah,
just so funny because I didn't know what the heck was going on,
Yeah.
and and then I thought like, oh, so Bill took both of those, and then I was like, no, wait.
Hit me. Crying about my uptime as usual.
But it worked.
Yeah.
We did. We killed the shield, and you were fine.
Yeah. And then we killed the boss, I guess, but like
Yeah.
I wanted my uptime.
No. No uptime.
But we have one of my old friends to thank for helping us through that, and that is Table-san, the legend himself. I tell
The mommy
many stories.
GF.
The mummy GF, old Johnny. I remember when he was a ninja. Actually, I think he was a paladin at first, and then he became a ninja. I don't
Oh.
remember, but
Oh.
he's pretty cool. Like that whole group is like super nice and full of good people. Like I hope to introduce you guys to like all of them eventually,
Yay.
and then
Yay.
like hopefully like Table tells us the secrets of killing the final boss of this tier if we get stuck.
You can carry us again.
He can replace me and tank it.
No. We need Nixie. Even if we get stuck on it forever, I will never replace you.
Hope not.
Yeah, I hope not.
I'd replace me.
I mean, my Asher doesn't need anything from it, but
I mean, I only need the sword.
Ninja does though.
Yeah, well, we all need extra things from it, and we all need the mount. Thunder Daddy.
Oh, that's true. We all need to ride Thunder Daddy. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So there was also a live letter this week.
Yeah.
I didn't
And-
watch that, haha.
Well, then you're about to hear
Learn.
about things that you already
Yeah,
know
but I
about.
heard you when you were angry about it.
I wasn't angry about it. I just felt that they spent too long talking about the A Realm Reborn MSQ, which, considering we're like 6 years on from at this point, I think the players watching the live letter didn't really need to know about the EXP changes in A Realm Reborn. You know,
Fair.
Well, I mean,
not as deeply as
it's
they
good
went
that
into
they're
it.
making a change, though.
Of course, and
Yeah.
I think it's a very good change and will help a lot of people out.
Agreed.
And the flying in A Realm Reborn areas is gonna be
Oh,
like
Yeah, that's
Great.
gonna be
the biggest hype. Imagine if you went and got all of the riding maps from A Realm Reborn and now you could just fly there.
That sounds like something I did. It's not like I have basically all the Realm Reborn riding maps bar like 3 or something.
Yeah,
I'm just surprised that they are gonna do that.
me
like,
too.
Yeah, me too.
because the
I wasn't
reason
expecting
they didn't implement it in the first place was that they said the zones were too small.
Yeah, they
Hmm.
are.
Are they?
Most of them, yeah. Like if you look at the size of the Realm Reborn zones to like any other expansion zones, they're like half the size.
Well, yeah, but then you have really awkward zones like East. Where are we?
We're in Gridania.
Yeah, but East Shroud,
Oh,
where
Shroud. Mhm.
the wedding place is, with all of the Sylph people over in like the corner. Like getting around that place is like kind of horrible.
And like Lower Lenosha, how it's like the Aetheryte is at the bottom, but everything good is at the top.
Will you be able to fly over those huge gaps in the map now, where like it used to be that you have to go on like a boat or like teleport to a different
Oh,
area?
like in Airport to
Yeah.
go to Ferroceras.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, maybe that'd be pretty good actually. Save
We'll have
Gil.
to see.
I mean, I'm interested. And it would
Yeah.
actually mean that when you get to level 50 and you're able to fly there, it will actually feel like you've upgraded. Like you went from being like this traveler
Little
that
pleb.
that walks, then you get the traveler that rides, and now you can zoom, zoom, zoom.
Yeah, that alone will also make the quests go faster.
Yeah.
It might make a teleporting to Horizon and flying to where do you call it faster. Vesper Bay than taking the Limsa.
I mean, I
Right.
don't go to the Limsa thing anyway. My loading screen's too slow.
I mean, I take Horizon because I have the mint speed up.
No, me too. But well, not the amount speed up, but
I have the mint speed up there.
yeah. But in the live letter, they spoke about a few things that interested me, and a few things that always confuse me. Like,
Mhm.
I don't like.
Trials.
Well, they started off by saying that we were getting new quests in the weapons story,
Mhm.
and then they said no trials this patch, and we were like, oh, what are they going to put instead then? And they were like instance content, and we were like, okay, so maybe like a dungeon or something, or we still don't know. And then they announced a trial and an extreme trial that's going to be probably story based.
Mhm.
But the problem is when they do that is they don't show anything to do with it, so it ends up being like,
They
Mhm.
want it to be a mystery.
well, yeah, but it ends up, for me at least, reducing the amount of hype because I'm kind of like, well, I don't even know what it is. Like, how can I get hyped over fighting something that,
Yeah.
Well, some people get hyped by the mystery itself, I think.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess.
Like, oh, what is it gonna be? Oh my god! And then they sit there and speculate and create like a hype from that.
Mm.
and, like,
Thancred
people-
Extreme.
Yeah, exactly.
Thancred Extreme. Xenos with 4 swords.
Oh god. I can kind
Yeah.
of see it. That's the sad thing.
He has a red one, he has a blue one, he has a green one, and now he has the yellow one.
Why is he still alive?
Why is Thancred
Leave
still
him
alive?
alone.
Why is Thancred still alive? That's why we're fighting Thancred Extreme next patch. We're calling it here.
Yeah.
But and then they announced.
Well, he needed to be alive for the story, like with
Attack. Manny.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, his existence is tolerable.
But it's basically to create this. Oh, he's such a sweet dad thing. You know.
Fair. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. You know, I'd have killed him off. It would have been funny.
Yeah, me
No.
too.
But then again, half of the cast of Final Fantasy XIV would be dead, like Alpha Node. Alpha Node too.
Oh man.
He would have died in a moment born.
Alpha
No.
needs to go in the bin.
He would have died at the end of Coil. I don't know how.
No.
He would have just
No,
fell over.
You know the like big long cutscenes before Heavensward? Or,
Yeah.
You where face like gets knocked out, whatever. When they go up to Alpha to like try and kill him, they should have just did it right then, right there. Alpha died.
No, I think it's like I don't know. A lot of people seem to dislike him for some reason, and I don't understand that. No, because they are actually like, or they are like children.
I know he's like 16.
Yeah, but like
Killed a
now he is. Now he is 16, but when it started he wasn't, and I can say that I think he's really starting to grow as a character. Like
Nah,
through all
he's still a whiny bitch.
through all the expansions,
I
like
mean,
I've seen
kind of
him
agree.
grow.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's kind of
much.
true. I mean, I like Shadowbringers because they just take the piss out of him all the time. It's great.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah,
I didn't like the Stormblood solo instance where you had to play as him and he walked around like he had pooped himself. Like he definitely had a wedgie. I'm not even fronting that one. Like
Oh, I can't stand up.
stop bullying the little boy.
killed a twink.
No.
But yeah, so Alpha Nod Extreme coming out in like 6 months time. Once
I
and
want to
for
see
all.
it. I want to see it.
Yeah. So anyway, he's alive, and he'll probably stay alive because
He's important character here.
he's comic relief.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Comic relief characters don't die.
you're right.
He'll
Sad though.
he'll start showing up in Hildebrand and get moved over there.
Oh god, they haven't brought any more of those quests out. I'm really sad. When they're doing it, we need more. They're so good.
Soon.
Let's not talk about it. But and then after that they spoke some more about like the new 24 man and the dungeon and stuff, which are gonna be cool.
Yep.
I'm a little bit sad that the 24 man is in the desert, but
But why?
No, I really like the desert in here.
no, it's cool. But like I wanted the carnival area because that place is awesome.
I think the carnival area is gonna be the last thing.
Yeah, me too. I think that's gonna be the last one because
Yeah,
it's like so iconic. The carnival area.
If they don't put the carnival area in there at all, like you guys owe me like one
Or,
materia 8.
Emma, you've played in here, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Your Yorha like hub would be pretty cool as well.
Yeah, but I don't think so.
I mean, it probably won't be that, but I think
Yeah,
it'd be pretty
but
cool.
I don't think so.
No, you're right. It won't be, but I think it'd be pretty cool. It probably will be the carnival because it was so iconic.
It better be the carnival, otherwise you guys owe me one materia 8. That's all I'm saying.
The thing is, I personally think that they're gonna have the carnival area
Mhm.
because a lot of people love that area,
Yeah.
and it would be a fun.
Start in Pascal's village and then work your way to the carnival because they're like
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
pretty cool.
I think that would be pretty swank,
Yeah, I'm into it.
and it would be a fun.
Oh.
God damn it! Why did we choose this spot?
No.
Sorry.
Nixie chose it.
Who's this? It's another random.
Oh no, but they're lighter than air.
I mean, they look kind of cool to be honest. Oh, they're waving.
They're waving at me. I don't know them. Yep, they're gone.
Yeah, but so yeah, like the carnival area should be the last one, and like I just hope that some of the bosses are a little bit less frustrating in this next one.
Okay, so if it's going to be in the desert, like I'm trying to think what like iconic desert like fights there was.
Wasn't there like this big wormy machine thing?
Oh yeah, it's like we have to fight as A2.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome actually if that's like one of the fights.
I mean, it
That'd be
probably
really cool.
will be.
Mhm.
Will it be like Cutter's Cry?
Oh god.
Maybe.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was a really cool boss.
Yeah, I think so
in
too.
here. That'd be pretty good. I'm predicting though that the final boss will be A2 of this one. We've had 9S, so it'll be A2, and then the final boss will be 2B, calling it.
2p, you mean?
No, 2B.
No,
Oh.
2P is
With
yeah, she's the one we found, the one with the white,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm predicting anyway.
I like
would
how
be
she DPS's most alliance players. It's great
You know why that is, though, right?
because she needs to be able to clear the content.
No. So in the fight with the stupid like massive robot that takes like for ages.
Yeah.
When ad phase starts and like all the little robots are there, she one shots them all at once.
Oh,
So
okay.
it boosts her DPS the highest in the like raid.
Okay, fair enough.
That's
but I don't know. I feel like she's really cool, and like A2 would be cool. But the problem I have is I'm scared of A2 because that place has a bunch of goblins in it.
Yeah. No,
But,
A2 would be cool with her like berserk feature.
Mhm.
If,
I
like,
just-
if you're playing Nier, not playing A2, what are you doing?
I just hope that there isn't a huge amount of downtime on the final fight again.
Yeah, okay, kind
Like
of agree.
like that the final fight the first time you were there, it was like, oh, this is really cool, and then every time after it, like you're like, yeah, we know you're gonna go up in your aeroplane and fire rockets.
And then we'll have 2 ad phases and
Yeah, it's a little bit. I think that the only boss in there that I like is the giant phallic creature from the roof, Hobbs.
oh yeah, that one.
He's my boy. Like the first boss is like. It's too unfriendly to noobs. Like it just it's too unfriendly to me. Like I'm terrible.
Are you? It's so easy.
No, it is.
I've been in there like 3 times.
Oh man, I'm in there weekly.
Yeah,
Love
because you don't. You complain every time you go.
I
in.
do. I complain every time, but I do really like it.
Yeah, I mean it's cool, but I feel like there are so I don't know. I feel like you could have taken some of the mechanics from there and put them elsewhere, and it would have been slightly better for a first
No, then it
boss.
would have been too easy.
See, me and Emma know what we're talking about.
All right. Then the second boss is Hobbs, and he is the one, the big phallic robot. Like I'm into that. And then the third boss is really cool, but he has like 1 billion health, and people don't do enough damage.
Yeah, that I feel like that's the boss I don't like the most, just because of how long
But
that
I
takes.
like Engels.
I like
I know,
Engels as well.
I no, I like it. I do really like it. I just feel like it takes a long time,
Yeah.
and the fact
Well-
there's 2 ad phases in that fight as well.
Yeah. There's too much ad phases
Well, to be honest,
to be.
the
honestly.
boss that I've hated
Mhm.
throughout or
Story.
rather had most problem with
Mhm.
in all of the Alliance raids
Yeah.
Ooh.
is the fucking math boss.
Oh.
Oh, Construct
I
7,
hate him.
love
I
that
hate
fight.
it. No, I'm like
He's a good boy.
prime. I can't
So-
count.
As you both know, I study math, so like I love that bit. I'm
I
like,
mean,
yes.
he's fine. I like the bit where you kill the ad phase quick enough, and you come back and he does a little dance for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, did
incredible
you guys
fight.
do it before they nerfed it? Like in the beginning? Like,
Yeah.
Did
With
it
how
very well.
fast it was.
yeah.
It was
His
great.
lasers was insane. Was like you couldn't like
You couldn't dodge those.
no, you couldn't dodge those. Like you were
It was
lucky if you
great.
did survive.
Oh, I love. That's a
Yeah,
really good fight.
he was cool.
I don't know which one I would say out of all the alliances. I think I hate the most.
I hate the guy who casts like Megadeth because people fail it for no, like they don't understand what
Oh,
it is and they
yeah,
just die, and it's
from-
like,
Weeping City.
yeah, wiping say, and
Yeah.
they all
Yeah,
die
that's
to
why
that.
it's called Wiping City.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know. Because of that fight and then Ozma.
I mean, Ozma isn't that bad as long as you have
Ah,
like one
right.
person that knows what's going
The
on.
thing is, Osma was the one that was the hard part of that
Yeah.
in the like beginning, like back in the day when it was new. Osma was like the noob killer.
And now it's Mr. Megadeth.
I actually in the Dunscaith,
Mm-hmm.
the Jester you have to fight. I actually don't really like that fight.
I don't like him simply because of people trolling and pressing the buttons on the floor when they're not supposed to, and then we all get
Yeah.
like 1 billion damage and die.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Day one of that fight of that raid was like actually hell. I had Setsumi carry me on his like savage killing bard.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What else was said in the live letter?
Oh well, like then they announced the new piece of content coming out next patch, and this is where we are going to transition to phase 2 of Monday Night Clears. Ha ha ha!
Yes.
And that is, they announced that they are bringing some of the old trials back, but at a new max level with like more difficult stuff.
Yep.
Starting with the girl herself, Shiva Extreme. Well,
Heck yeah. I'm looking
Shiva
forward to
Unreal.
that.
Unreal. Yes. Shiva Unreal.
Yeah.
I'm
And
looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it. I
Same.
think that me and Satu have a slight advantage because we recently went into Shiva and just went through all of her mechanics and saw
And
her in
watch
rage.
her in rage. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for her to step on me again.
Step on me, mommy.
Oh, yes.
I can't wait to hear her music, but like, it's
Scary.
you're going.
again.
Yeah, it's scary. You're not just going. You're not like going like duty find her and getting her because like everyone can just kill her at that point, or you unsync her and she's fine. No, I want to go in there, hear that music, and be, oh god, here we go.
Yeah, I'm so
Indeed.
excited. So, my question is, with this piece of content being revamped for a max level audience, what piece of content do you wish you had done when it was relevant, or that you did do when it was relevant, that you think was like a big highlight, or like something that you wish you had done because it would have been like so cool? You know?
I mean, I've done everything when it was relevant
Yeah,
because
so-
I've played it for a long time.
What is your like? What piece of content was like a highlight for you on content when it was difficult then?
I don't know. Like, there were so many, but I don't know. Like, I think actually Shiva was like the thing because it was so hard, but it was fun.
Yeah. So essentially, you're really happy with the decision to bring
Yes,
Shiva as the
indeed.
first one
I love
because you
Shiva
are
as well
there.
as the primal.
Hmm.
So I'm really happy she's gonna be the first one.
When we go in there as our group and she does her transition, if she doesn't step on me, I'm quitting the team.
Yeah. Okay.
Like you guys better all run into the wall before that phase.
Okay, the first time we do it, so you can be stepped on.
I'm only kidding. I won't really leave. We just kill
No,
it. It'll be
I'm
fun.
just kidding as
I
well.
will.
Okay.
Okay, good setup.
See you later. Satoru, how about you? What piece of content
This
would
could
you?
sound kind of weird.
Okay.
But I actually wish I did the Warring Triad when it was a thing.
Oh.
Okay.
Because I didn't do it when it was a thing, and I actually quite like those 3 fights. I think they're all quite interesting. So I kind of wish I did them when they were on.
Okay, so that would be
Sephiroth, Shiva,
Sophia.
Sophia, and Zarvan.
okay. I mean,
Skip Sword,
I
Dismount.
have very different opinions than you. I think that Sephiroth. Well, we will talk about that later, if you don't mind. We'll go more into detail on that later.
Okay.
For me,
and yourself.
It's difficult because I've done most of the content. Like, a lot of people will probably know me and think, oh, he's gonna say Alexander 8 to see the boy himself, Brute Justice, transform into the giant robot. Because that is like, that's my life right there. That hits me in the heart. The issue is to get to that fight, the rest of that raid tier doesn't really interest me that much. Like, the other fights in that tier are kind of like, eh. So, to be honest, the fight that I wish I had downed on content is something that I only got to go into once, and that was A11. Because Cruise Chaser with his forward and back, he is so weird as a Final Fantasy boss with his ability for you to skip mechanics by doing high DPS in certain phases, and the fact that his enrage is literally like, one of his enrages is if he damages the platform enough. Like, he had so much weird stuff that there has never been a fight like it before or since, in my opinion.
Okay.
That I think that, like, and not only that, but when you get on the back of that aeroplane, that's like, ooh, like that's like the highlight of your time. And then all of the players that didn't either get on or get off of it and just die, it's just, ooh, it's like actually a highlight of my life. Like, healing that for the first time in normal mode, like, it felt so cool because there were just things happening all the time, and I was like, running around. So we have a little bit of a special thing for today's episode because we cleared E7. We thought that we would give a little bit of a different style of content. And so we are going to be creating a tier list of all of the trials pre-Shadowbringers, because rating things that are in Shadowbringers, we're too close to them at the moment, and they're not all out. So it'd be better to talk about things in respect to each other. Like, how can we tell if Ruby Weapon is like the best or the worst of the weapons?
Exactly.
So
remember, this is our how we feel about it. It's not thingy. So.
Well, of course, it's not factual, but however, if you disagree with me, you're wrong.
Wow.
Well, no. On some accounts, if you disagree with me, you're wrong. But like, we'll accept you being wrong this time. But I will move the web page over, and I will close down Final Fantasy for myself.
Okay.
And right, 1 second, quick. And here we go. Here is the tier list website. We each have it up, I think.
Yep.
And I assume that all of our layouts are the same, starting with Ultimate Weapon in the top left?
Yep.
Okay. Emma might already have hers completed, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I have mine completed already.
Okay.
I have two. I have my version and the clear version, so we can fill in.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm gonna be reading off the things in order anyway, so Emma can just like peer at where she placed a guy and
Yep.
be like, he's there, and the reason he's there is this. So, I will explain my tiers first.
Yep.
In the bin means that they're like literal trash, and no one should feel bad if it got removed. Kind of like if they allowed me to ban several trials from the roulette, those are the ones that I would have done. Then there's you really got to think about what you. I can't say the words. You really got to think about what you do, and it's like, why are you here? Essentially, like, what what made them put you in the game? And then you've got I mean, can we don't? It's like when someone asks you if you can help them clear the normal mode or the extreme of it, you go, "Well, can we don't instead? You know? Then you've got in all languages, which is kind of like, it's okay, but like, slightly lower than average, I guess. And then you've got it's alright. It's alright. Then you've got, you are doing the thing. If you were doing the thing, I don't know what the thing is, but you were doing it, and that at least puts you above being alright. Like, you can't be doing the thing and be bad, like, for sure. And then we get to the rare air, where only the best of the best trials sort of sit in the rare air, and then above that is like gold standard, where if every other trial was like this one trial, you just would never have a bad day.
Okay.
And so we're gonna take Ultima, the boy
Ultima.
himself. Yeah, in all of I have not fought against the Ultima,
No.
so I don't know how he is. But for me, Ultima is kind of in all languages, because he is like, he's okay, but in all of his iterations, it kind of feels like he's a little bit underwhelming as a fight, because they always try to make it super overwhelming, but it just feels a little bit lackluster. Like when they put him at the end of the MSQ thing, he has this massive stone skin, and then you have to fight him like twice, and it's kind of like, I get it, he's a big strong weapon guy, but I would rather not. And then in the extreme version, he's a lot cooler, for sure, but I don't know, he's just a little bit, I don't mind fighting him, but I don't think that the amount of focus that they've put into him in the story
I mean,
and stuff is really as hype.
I put him one lower. Actually, I mean, can we don't? Because it's boring. I quite he's cool like story wise, but they've tried to throw him in so many places, and
You open the door to the FC and there he is.
Yeah.
like see in the Praetorium where he first appears. Like I know we're all like way over geared, but when you do MSQ roulette and you get that, and to see if you're tanking, you just stand and everything and nothing happens.
Mate, even if you're not tanking, if you got a scholar there to put a shield on you, you just eat everything. It's so good.
Not even with a scholar. Like, you know, the proximity markers.
Yeah, stand on it.
Even as a healer, I just stand on them because it's hilarious. Because nothing happens.
I mean, we are over geared to higher hell. That's like for level
true.
like 40 or something.
When he was relevant, he wasn't even hard in that sense as well. That's the thing. Like, sure, you'd have to like dodge, of course, stuff.
Yeah,
but,
the magic bits.
Yeah, but it was still like, meh, you know. So like,
and the fact that when you're in the elevator with him, and he just goes, "Oh, hi healers, by the way, you're now tanking." Like, it's not fun.
But that bit was actually, in my opinion, worse back in the day.
Oh, really?
Because in the elevator he uses the power of the primals, and dodging the puddles that come up underneath,
Mm-hmm.
like the
Ifrit and the Titan.
no, the Titan ones.
Oh, mhm.
It was so hard because of the super mega latency.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Oh, back when the servers were not in
Europe, no,
Europe.
yeah.
Mm.
So that was like the hardest part of it all. Like that was the one thing that could probably get you,
Okay.
but otherwise it
Okay.
wasn't that bad.
So where did you put him?
Me,
Yeah.
well, my version of your, I mean, can we not? Can we don't?
Which
Yeah.
is D.
Yeah, I have that category as forgettable,
Oh, okay.
and that's where I've placed it because
That's placing there.
he's pretty forgettable. You know, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's nothing special about it. It's like even if I
His
did it
design
when
is
it was
kind of
relevant,
terrible as well, right?
it's not bad or anything. It's
I mean,
just
he's
he's
just a big
forgettable.
black blob. So I'm actually going to move him down because of what has been said here. Because I thought, like, on content, he might have been a little bit more imposing. I'm going to put him into. You really got to think about what you do because I don't think he's thought enough about what he does. Like,
Yeah,
he's meant to be this big imposing, like, endgame, like, threat, and he just isn't. He's just kind of there, and
yeah.
like. I gave him the benefit of the doubt and was like he might have been a little like when you first see him, he's a little bit imposing because he's so dark. But if he was easy back then as well, like he's
Well,
really
he
got.
wasn't easy,
Well,
but it
no,
was like
like you know,
there was worse fights. to
he's
do.
really got to think about what he does, and
Yeah.
maybe he can come back in Ultimate and be threatening.
Yeah, because well, none of us did Ultimate, so no his in there.
Yeah, one day we'll go and kill Uwu.
Oh God.
Right, so now we get on to the like original three, the vanilla flavors, as it were. Well,
Mhm.
no, it's vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
I'm gonna put my vanilla up into. You are doing the thing. I think Garuda is doing the thing. She's a cool bird lady. She has some interesting enough mechanics. I think that the keeping the rocks and stuff safe by not like stacking on them and stuff and then hiding behind them. It was a mechanic that, like, for the time, it feels kind of like interactive. I guess.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
think that the ads in that fight are kind of weird. Like I don't really know what they do because I haven't been playing back when they were relevant. I know that you can't kill her when they're around,
No, you
And-
had to kill them first back in the day.
and you've got to spread them into like the different zones, right?
Yeah, you have to take them like away from her on one side each
Yeah.
to like
How did that work? Only having 2 tanks.
He's asking an important
Um,
question.
I think that. Oh wait! You keep one.
Oh,
There.
yeah.
That's what it is. That's what it is. You kept one of them by Garuda,
Mhm.
and the other one you had to take away. You had to take away one of them from her.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So did which one you took away matter? Like, was their names like important?
It was the. I think if I remember correctly, it was Chirada. I think she's called.
Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
That's actually
Uh,
really interesting then.
Yeah, I think that's what the one you wanted to get away first. I don't remember if there was a reason behind it.
I mean, I do
But you
like.
kept Soprana by Garuda, I think. Yeah.
I really like the idea of having ads that are actually like different. Like they're not just differentiated by being two different colors of the same monster. They are like named and stuff. I like the idea of having extra characters within the boss fight.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean,
it hasn't really been done that much, I think.
the in Extreme, the feather, the one you're not allowed to kill.
Yeah, the
That was-
spiny, I think.
Yeah, or where was that? Yeah, that
Yeah.
was always really
This
annoying.
tiny plume. Oh my god.
Yeah, but
because people would just burst in the feathers and be like, "Oh, oops," and you're
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
"Oh,
but
well, okay."
I think controlled AOE and like avoiding splash damage and stuff is all interesting mechanics. Especially, it would be interesting now with so much of the like multi-hitting moves we have.
Hmm.
Like, I think that kind of control controlled fight is, at least for me, something that is sort of interesting. I'm putting her in there. You were doing the thing because I think she even back in the day was doing the thing.
Yeah.
If she came out now, she would be a little bit underwhelming. But I think that for being one of the original three, she's got a lot going for her, in my opinion.
Okay.
Where did you place her?
I place her in is alright.
Acceptable. She's on the lip for sure.
Yeah. But if you're gonna put her in like you're doing the thing, probably lower.
Yeah, no, she's
Like,
definitely she's on the
yeah.
lip of being
Should
in
have left
alright.
two of them. Yeah.
But
alright.
you can't understate her music.
It's
When she tells
pretty
you
good.
to now fall, it's like, oh.
You fall.
Like, I legitimately wanted to go into Uwu just to hear Garuda. Like, I didn't even want to progress past that. Like, I love other fights in there. Spoilers. But I just wanted to hear the Garuda soundtrack because I think that she has one of the best songs in the game.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Emma.
I put her in the It's Alright as well.
Okay, you guys are the same.
Because like, I really appreciate the fight for what it was.
Hmm.
But
It's a little bit underwhelming.
no, not really. It's just, for me, there are more fun fights.
For sure, yeah.
Like, it was a nice thing to start out with,
Yeah.
but there are more fun fights with other kind of mechanics, I guess.
I mean, I agree that her mechanics are a little bit lacking, and even in later content that may or may not include someone who is very similar to this, sweating in all languages, I think that her phase and that is also a little bit underwhelming.
But the music is banger.
Yeah, the music's pretty good.
Yes, I love it.
But it's not enough to rise her.
It's not
But the-
Rise.
But
You're
the
right,
thing
it
is, though-
not rise.
For me,
Yeah.
like, I have the categories named differently than you have.
So what category is she in for you?
In mine, she's in fun.
I agree.
Okay.
She is fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And now we're on to the big chicken nugget himself.
Oh, mate. I'm telling you, he's good.
Oh,
it's a good fight.
Yeah.
I like Titan.
I'm gonna go one step above that and say he is my gold standard. If every fight was Titan,
Really?
we would never have a bad day.
You're okay. He is getting bumped straight up to gold standard. Then there you go.
I think that Titan as a fight is such a fun mechanical nightmare, and like everything about him puts pressure on the party. Like
Yeah.
everything he does during the extreme is like, oh, by the way, here's the mechanic. You best be watching out for it, or you're gone. Like it is so it's kind of
Yeah.
unforgiving even at max level now. Like if you get
Yeah,
hit by like one
exactly.
thing, you're gone.
You're gone. Like, see, I love it, like when the arena gets so small and,
And
like
then the two
it's-
big chicken nuggets spawn.
exactly like it's
Yeah.
and the music in there, it's like I look at more than Garuda as like Titan is a really. I remember the very first time you going in there normal level like what 36 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was on PlayStation 3 and mentioned it was in the bin, and like it is like, oh wow, this is like a proper fight. Unlike the next one we're about to come to.
Ooh, mate, strawberry over there.
So he's up at the top then.
For me, if they make every fight as good as they made Titan, like you get to the bit in the extreme where every single spot on the map is a bomb and you have to DPS one down, and it's like the mechanic that you done previously was just like dodging these things, and suddenly he just puts the pressure on you of like, well, you know what this is, you know exactly how it's gonna react. Are you ready for it? And it's like, wow. Titan for me, the music, the way you have to dodge his mechanics, everything about it is an ideal difficulty and level. his tank buster is some massive big AoE, like he sort of like flips the
Yeah.
table on you a little bit.
Yeah, and it's like the chunkiest weapons going.
Well, if Bill was here, you know. Oh, well, you better have your Titan cleavers if you're gonna go clear anything. You know,
Yeah.
like.
Anyway, move on to the next one then.
No, Emma hasn't.
No, I haven't.
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry, Emma.
I'm putting you straight in the bin, mate.
Yeah,
Down
that's right.
there
I'm
with
delete from game. Me.
yeah.
I had to step outside
Oh, that's
because
okay.
my roommate is talking in the phone. So
Oh, are you okay?
That's fine.
yeah. I just stepped outside so it wouldn't bother. Now the birds can bother us instead.
Oh,
I can't hear you.
I
but,
hope they do.
For me,
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
probably gonna be very angry, but for me, he's in the same category as Garuda.
That doesn't make me angry at all. As long as he's in the top 3, I think we're still good.
I had him in the same category as Gruda.
So
Just higher.
because the thing is like, it's a good fight, but I kind of have a love-hate relationship with him because when I did him, there was still the server lag thing.
Yeah.
Like,
And I will say that anyone from outside of Europe now hates him. It's so good.
because like you couldn't fucking dodge the puddles. Like
Yeah.
it was so annoying because you had to do everything like a few seconds before it was actually appearing. So
Yeah.
when they actually fixed that, it felt the fight suddenly felt so underwhelming because we cleared it like
With lag.
a lot of times with the lag.
Yeah. But in terms of like what he has going on for him, I think that he's like, as you say, he's in fun. He's a fight where you go in and even if you're like getting hit by things and wiping, it's still kind of like an experience where it's like, oh well, he's really powerful. Like it feels like you're actually fighting this big stone chicken nugget.
Well, that's the for me at least,
hmm
where the dragoon jokes stem from the
Yeah.
floor tank,
Well,
because the dragoon
yeah.
would always get hit by a landslide and go down.
Dragoon go down.
Yeah, like they would always get hit by a landslide and be like, "Bye." Like,
And his enrage is pretty cool as well. So
yeah,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
he is cool and the music is really really good,
Mhm.
but we have that love hate relationship. Like
Oh, okay, that's fair.
I hate him, but I love him
I think a lot of
for
people
all
do.
the reasons.
When I first saw him though, I just instantly fell in love. He was the ultimate in like, oh well, he's just a really big cool rock guy. He's gonna be my big boyfriend, and like, you know, Rock Daddy over there is like the highlight of like when someone asks me like what is a cool fight in Final Fantasy, I show them a Titan. I'm like,
Titan is ugly as hell. That was the first thing I thought when I saw him. Like, damn, that shit is ugly.
look at his mouth.
That's why I carry around the Titan mask. So whenever I feel like I want to be ugly, I just put on the Titan mask.
That's great.
Okay,
Oh.
I have no real argument with that. Alright, and I guess we move on to old Strawberry over here, known as if
Yeah.
Dog. So, for me, Dog is you really got to think about what you do.
Same.
Because he's an okay fight and like his AoEs and stuff are really cool, but then you get to like the now phase and the amount of times I've wiped to people putting dots on Ifrit.
Or like,
Uh,
see. What was I going to say?
okay.
But yeah, that whole like white thing that they fixed that though.
I know,
It doesn't
but
happen anymore.
they fixed that because like summoners would go in there and be like, "Ooh, let me just like put dots on the boss," and then the nows would spawn and the summoner would look around and be like, "Those look fun. Let me hit the boss again."
But you know, back in the day,
Yeah.
you would actually usually wipe because you didn't DPS the fucking what are they called? Spikes?
Nails?
Yeah,
The
Nails.
nails. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
The nails fast enough.
Yeah. The big
That
nail you
was
had
what
to use
you wiped.
LB3 on.
You didn't have to use LB3 on it, but like it was very tight. You had to like be very focused on like, okay, so these people go hit this one. Okay, so now it's almost done. You have to move on to the next one. I'll come and stuff like that.
And the fact you get one snacks from as well.
And the
Yeah.
fact that the chains happen and the healers are exploding, like it's the only one of
Yeah.
the original 3 that I never went and did synced because I just looked at it
I
and I
didn't
was,
think it was horrible.
it just looked like it was more of a headache to actually do.
Yeah.
So I
it
just
was.
kind
I
of,
healed it as well.
oh, that's,
It wasn't
well, I
fun.
mean, to be honest, if I was doing it, I would have healed it because
It was just
like
a little,
I don't trust anyone
a
else
little
to,
nuke.
I don't trust
It's
anyone else
Golden Boy.
with that AoE.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, I think he really needs to think about what he does because he's just a silly dog and, like, the nows are more threatening than he is and it's just sad.
Yeah.
Like, the first time you see him, he's okay. Like, when you first see the big fire dog and, like, the arena comes up and it's like... it's, like, kind of... Like, it made me really hyped at the time, I'm not gonna lie. But then, like, every time I see him since, I've been like... like, I know Ifrit, I know. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
So where did you put him, Emma?
I put him in, like he's okay.
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 So you put him in like a middle tier.
Yeah, like, cause back in the day, like he was good. Like, it was hard, but it was good. Like, if we're talking extreme one, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Because I usually base my answers here on the extreme versions because
Yeah,
those
yeah.
are the ones I
Me
feel
Of course.
are the relevant ones.
I
Cause,
mean, if I did it extreme, I base it off of the extreme and like when you first go in. But the problem is I've never done that one extreme other than
Yeah.
unsynced, so it's kind of like sketchy.
While doing it extreme, I didn't enjoy it. I did it and cleared it, but I didn't enjoy it.
well, he is the worst one of those 3,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but there are worse fights in my opinion.
To
be honest. Like he is a cool fight. Like I think so at least. Like if you do it when you did it, if you did it synced,
Yeah.
like it's harder. Like
Yeah.
he feels more of a challenge. You know?
It feels like back then when they made him, it was more like savage difficulty Ifrit, rather than just an extreme trial Ifrit.
Yeah, kind of. Like Titan was still harder because of the puddles.
latency.
Yeah, but Ifrit still had his points where he was harder. Like of all of the 3, Garuda was the easiest one.
Yeah, she just kind of doesn't do a whole lot.
It was the spiny
Yeah.
that was the hard part on Garuda. But yeah, we have like shitload to cover, so let's move on, I guess.
Okay, so now we are on Fawn March, otherwise known as the Great King Moogle.
Fuck him.
King Muggle mate, in the bin. Nah.
In the bin,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I actually put him one from in the bin.
Same,
You
actually.
both tell me why, and I will tell you why he's in the bin.
Luke can start.
I said one up from the bin because he is an interesting fight. His music's pretty good when he's like gonna tickle your feet and stuff. But like
Oh mate, feet. Yes, please.
but like it's a trash and horrible fight. And getting it in roulette makes you want to kill yourself. But like
I won't go that
It's-
far, but
there's
yeah.
worse fights. It's not that
That's
bad.
a bold statement.
I can deal with it.
I would like getting him in roulette makes me want to kill myself, but there's worse fights.
There is. Don't you worry, there is.
For me, it's the fact that like he's one above the bin for me as well, because the music is like literally one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, the music's pretty good.
It's
But,
a banger for sure. It's a bop.
It is an interesting like type of concept for the fight with
I
all
agree.
the different Mughals doing different things,
Yeah.
and like you need to make sure that like you kill them, or back in the day at least you had to kill them in a certain order,
Yeah.
but it was a pain in the ass. It was, and it
Yeah.
hurt like hell.
Yeah.
And when you did it, or still when you do it with people, like new people,
Yeah.
or like sprouts, it's a pain. It's
You
a
wait
pain
'cause
because
lucky.
because they go hitting like good King Moggle, and it's like, no, you're not supposed to hit him, and they're like, what? Couldn't hear what you said.
Summoner sitting there with their pet hitting
No, it's
him.
not even the summoners. It's
It's
usually
always
just
the summoner.
like archers as well. They just
Yeah,
shoot
yeah.
it like,
No.
I'm gonna shoot the big Muggle, and I'm like, no, you have to take them in order, the small one.
Yeah.
For me, I think he's cool, but I think the issue that I have with him is similar to you guys. It's that if people don't like people, he requires too much thought for like a super casual audience, but he is a required fight.
Yeah,
So the reason he's in the bin for me is because the first time I was there, it was super hype and cool. Every single time after that, I just go there and I'm like, let's get this done with.
And
Like
there's good reason for him being in the game as well. Like he wasn't supposed to be, but he is. Like there's
Yeah.
good reason for him being there, which I like quite like as well.
I
but
like.
his weapons are nice. That's
I
also a
agree.
redeeming factor for me
Some
because
of them.
back in Realm Reborn,
hmm
like the weapons from the primals I like the most,
Yeah.
like was Shiva's weapons. We're gonna get to
Oh.
her as well, but um,
Queen.
the step down from that was actually the Moogle weapons because they were so cute and like special somehow.
Yeah.
I think.
Especially the crafted ones.
Yeah. I think. Well, I used to use the cane on my white mage with my
Yeah.
pajamas when I was a Lalafell. I think that fight is. It definitely deserves to be in the game, but I just feel like. It just feels so. It feels so much like it has the potential to be slightly more.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a reason Sana uses her fork still.
yeah?
She's been using it all this time. Her little Moogle
Yeah,
fork.
Yeah.
What's the reason? Or do we want to wait and talk to her next week about it?
Well, she loves the fork. That's all there is to it. It's
Oh,
cute.
okay.
It's the best
You
one.
went-
It looks
you
like a
went-
fork.
You went, there's a reason that she's still
No,
using
the weapon. That's the reason.
Oh, it's that it looks
good
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. We'll talk to her about her fork next time.
Yeah, you should.
I definitely agree with you. I think that the Mog King weapons on the most part are pretty cool. Like, I used quite a lot of them when I was. You're not Lalafell, so it's like, and your character always looks so serious.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So you don't really get the benefit of like dressing up in silly outfits.
The only like one I can like kind of tolerate is the paladin sword.
I hate it.
There we go.
I love all of them.
Okay, so, but yeah, he's in the bin because I generally feel like he is kind of missed potential, and I hope that they redo a Moogle type fight in the future and utilize.
Unreal.
Yeah, and well, no. I don't want it to be a remake of that fight or a remaster of that fight where he's just higher level. I want like new mechanics. I feel like the issue I have with it is that it doesn't like even though all of them do different things, it doesn't ever feel like any of them, other than maybe the Black Mage, has that moment where it's like, oh, that's a Black Mage and that's how powerful the Moogle Black Mage is. Like, I feel like each of them should have their own like moment in this, like to shine,
Yeah.
and that would mean that people would care more about killing them in order. Like, I don't know. I feel like he's missed potential. And now we get on to a fight that I am actually kind of torn on.
Oh really?
Leviathan. Because I feel like his music and his like concept is really cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the fact that he's just a extended ad phase
Yeah. I mean,
lets him down.
I put him just under Garuda.
What,
he's
you mean
all-
in the
he's-
tier below or under her in terms of...
Same tier, but under her.
I put him in the tier below. He's alright.
He's all right, but that's where I had Garuda is all right.
Ah, yeah,
Because-
yours is below. Okay, yeah. Makes sense.
Because he's a good fight.
His music's nice.
His music is pretty good. Like when he starts screaming Leviathan, but like, I don't know what it is. It's just not good as other fights.
He's a little underwhelming. Well, not underwhelming.
Yeah.
I feel
No, I
like
know what you mean.
he's a really cool boss, and like being a big sea monster, and you're on a little platform, and he can knock you off. It's like this. To me, it's a big deal. Like he's a big deal. He's big time. But the issue is, I feel like because he just has so many ads, instead of having his own mechanics.
Yeah.
Like if he had more mechanics that were his own, I would be like, yeah, he's really cool. But he kind of only just sort of slaps the platform and then drives across it.
Yeah.
Which I guess for being a big sea monster, it sort of makes sense. But actually, because he only literally his mechanics are kind of non-existent, I'm putting him in all languages because
That's where
Well-
I have him too,
Okay.
actually.
Put him there and move on then, or?
I mean I don't think there's a lot to say about him. His ads.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's I would say that out of the Realm Reborn Primals, he's kind of got the least personal stuff going on.
Yeah, the only thing that was like hard on him was like positioning yourself.
So you didn't fall off.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
like getting the timing right on the
Button.
elemental
Yeah.
Mhm.
shield thing.
But I don't think that's challenge, and it's more to me
No.
that's more kind of poor design.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I think
That's
they've
why
learned
he's
a lot from him. Yeah, I think they've learned a lot from him. But I feel like what they were maybe going for is they wanted to just have this big wild sea monster. And he
Yeah.
definitely feels like a big wild sea monster, so I don't think he's I don't think that he is a fouled boss.
No.
So
No,
he is
absolutely
in
not.
all languages.
Mhm.
Now we're on to man with a big beard Ramu.
I put him just one above Ultima.
Oh, me too. He is in. I mean, can we don't?
Yeah, that's where he is for me because like it's not a good fight, but it's it's not Ifrit.
I mean, I
so-
disagree. I think he has his like the fact that the water on the stage becomes electrified during like mechanics when the water gets hit with electric and
Yeah,
the
that's
fact
pretty
that you
cool.
have to collect the orbs and like you have to rescue your party members by walking into them with like AoEs and stuff. I think that it's all really cool conceptually, but he is so boring to actually fight.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have a single mechanic about him that's like like
Yeah.
when Ifrit does his dive bombs across the stage,
hmm
it's like, oh, that's really cool. And when like Leviathan smacks down on the thing and you all go tumbling over, and when Great King Moogle Mog, the Black Maid summons the giant AoE circle,
hmm
and like when Titan does literally anything because he is literally Rock Daddy. I mean, to be fair, well, no. Even Garuda has that part where like the arena is separated into like 4 big sections.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
he doesn't really have anything. He's just kind of this big old man that just zaps people.
yeah, he doesn't have a hardened rage either.
Well, he does.
Mm,
Not
it's
anymore, but on content
not-
it would have killed you.
yeah, but it was still a softened rage because it wasn't like
No, but
a
it would've-
cast and that's it.
Uh,
But
it would have killed you though.
Yeah.
yeah, I would have. But you know what I mean, though.
He doesn't have this big effect that is like, oh, that's really cool. Like how some bosses have a cinematic, some bosses have this move that is guaranteed to knock you off. I don't know what
Yeah.
Garuda's Hardened Rage looks like, or
Yeah.
Leviathan, but I can imagine Leviathan's is probably just you don't have enough energy to fill the gauge and he just roars at you.
Exactly. Which is just you get hit and you die. Whereas
Yeah, he just
it's-
kind of
it's
casts
not.
lightning and
Yeah,
then casts
yeah, it's just
lightning.
con-
and then...
you just keeps casting it until you die. It's not I cast it, you're dead. No,
Yeah,
it's,
we
I
ended
will,
up
I will cast this
spending-
until you die.
We ended up spending multiple minutes looking at him, being like, are you done?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the sad part because you haven't gotten to see like the actual on content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. He's not being done justice when you're not doing it on
Same.
content.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
he was one of the hardest fights.
Yeah.
Like he was like really hard getting the timing right on the things, and like the tanks had to swap with the stacks, like if you did a mistake, like it could like cause a big like wipe and like the ads and like it was a hard DPS check
Yeah.
and you couldn't stand in the water and like there was so many things going on. I actually have him in the same category as I have Titan and Garuda.
That,
Oh.
Yeah,
I
you're doing
mean,
the right thing.
I mean,
And
I kind of agree to a certain extent. I think that he is definitely there is definitely some positives about him, and doing him on content is definitely better. I just I think that there isn't really one mechanic in him that makes him stand out as a fighter, which is
yeah,
kind
I
of
don't know. It was pretty scary back in the day when he did his big thunder like thing. The one that hurt like a truck.
Okay, so should we promote him to Human Lounge?
I'm gonna promote him up to it's alright if he was really good on like
Content.
really if he was on content, if he was like this really interesting fight that was difficult to do and beating him felt really satisfying. I think his music is pretty cool. I think that his
Yeah,
weapons are
it's a
pretty cool.
funky ass song.
Yeah. So honestly, I'm gonna promote him up 2 ranks because I genuinely believe that even though he doesn't have a mechanic in him that I'm like, yeah, that's really cool. He seems like he is a well thought out encounter,
Yeah,
even
he
if
is.
I don't believe that he is that impressive. So he's above Leviathan for me now.
Okay.
And now we're on to
The S tier itself.
I mean, you know, you said it. She's in the rare air. When you get stepped on by Shiva, that's it. Your heart stops, you know.
Yeah, do
Like-
we need to say anything else? She belongs in rare air. That's it. Unless
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
has
for
her
me
as
too.
best.
Yeah. I have it. No, I have it in rare air too.
Yeah, okay, just stick her in there, move on. She
I
belongs.
well, I'm not moving on quite yet. I know the thing, but I genuinely think that her phase changes, where she changes weapon, it makes it you almost feel like you're fighting 3 different classes.
Yeah.
And I think that that kind of fight really suits this game. And like, there are so many little things about her that make her so much like cooler than every other fighter in A Realm Reborn, for the most
Yeah,
part.
Yeah.
she's great.
Like, she was the first fight where I saw her and I heard the music and everything, and I was just like, this game's incredible. Like, how is this? How am I not already playing this? So I then went and immediately like got involved, and she's S tier for a reason. I like
yeah.
Titan more because I think that he is like I genuinely think he's just a funner fight to actually be in moment to moment. But
Uh-huh.
Shiva, there's something special about her, and there always will be.
Oh, she was. Yeah, she's really great.
Yeah. You know the attack she does, the Heavenly Strike?
Yeah,
That you're like,
Mhm.
oh well, haha, you know. That one was actually
Yep.
really bad on content. Like that one hurt, and you all had to sack together
Oh yeah, I know what
to
you're on
not
about.
die.
I mean,
Yeah.
we did it on Unsync, and it's still like
Her.
it was still something.
Yeah,
Let's
it
just put it that
hurts. And also with the latency,
way. Yeah.
the clock circle or like the circles, clock circles, whatever.
Oh
The
yeah,
Shiva,
hurt
yeah.
Shiva
so
mechanic.
much as well. Yeah, because it was so hard to get the timing right to move
Yeah.
Yeah.
because of the latency. So that was
Mhm.
also a pretty bad thing.
Yeah, but like the problem with latency being something we're talking about is it would generally move some of the fights down. But I think just like how it's meant to be done and like conceptually, Shiva is like the fights that have latency. Sure, it was bad at the time, but it wasn't intentionally like
No,
poorly
of course.
designed.
No, but somehow I need to base my opinion
Yeah, of
on that
course.
level because that's the first.
That's your experience with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I
Okay.
still love her to bits, and the
Yeah.
music is banger.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Absolute shadow banger right there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, and so speed round. Bismarck is trash, and
I have him above trash. Yep.
why?
Because I actually think it's a really cool concept,
I mean, I agree,
Um,
but
and that is the only reason why. So
I
he
have
can
him
still
on,
go fast.
I have him on in all languages because I don't know. He was fun and he was hard on content as well. Like to meet the DPS check with how much the platform you had
Yeah.
to stand on could take,
Yeah.
DPSing down the Corona.
Oh yeah.
So like it was hard push. It was a hard push.
But there was like no reason to actually fight him because the Ravana weapons were better. So like
Yeah, but like
that was it.
Yeah, but you still wanted to fight him because
It was something
you
to do.
want. Yeah, yeah,
Fair, I guess.
but you have it done as well.
I mean,
Like
if you can go in there, see if you went into a normal Bismarck fight right now, we wouldn't get it on one pull. You just don't get it on one pull. I don't know why.
but you kind of wanted his weapons as well for Ravana
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah. That makes
because
sense, yes.
Ravana was way harder, like way
Mhm.
harder.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, but we can get to that now as well, I guess.
Ravana for me is up there in you are doing the thing. Slightly above.
Yeah, that's where
Same
Ravana is
for
amazing.
me as
For
well.
me,
Yeah,
he's above Garuda because honestly, he feels like this like all of his mechanics and stuff he does. Number one, the fact that you have to like be careful about which bits of the wall that you're hitting with mechanics and stuff. It's almost a very A11.
Yeah.
But also on top of that, he is like his parrying thing, even though it's really annoying. It felt like you were fighting this like great fighter.
The very first time I heard his music, I got up and I waltzed because I know how to waltz, and
Oh,
his
no.
song is a waltz, and I was like, "This is the
Yeah.
one."
This
And
is
the
the
thing
one.
is, like, the music is like so good that like it's one of the S tier songs in the game for me as well.
It's definitely very
like-
good, yeah.
But the first time when I did it and we got to the like change, like phase change to phase
Oh
two,
yeah.
like when he picks you up with the thingy where you levitate,
Yeah.
and he like the music changes.
And he does his transition, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like so cool. Like I still
Yeah.
remember it was so cool. I loved him so much. So that's like a big reason for me why he's so high up.
I mean, he's almost in the rare air for me. Like, he is definitely
Yeah,
top
he's
of...
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
there.
He's almost there.
The one reason he's not in the rare air for me is because of the fact that there is so much weird downtime and like moments where
Yeah.
he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go away and then come back and then go away and then summon a bunch of like ads.
Puddles and shit.
Yeah, he's quite like. If he had some more personal moves that were quicker, like for example, you know, all of his like spinny sword attack and like his get
With the
behind
long
him.
casts.
Yeah, I think if they were slightly quicker and he had more things like that, he would basically be unstoppable for me. He is
Yeah.
very similar to the latest trial for me in terms of like, I really just love doing the movement on him. Like it feels fun to fight him almost every time. Like you go into trial roulette, and if you get Ravana, you're never like, oh no, why Ravana?
Yeah,
You're
it's always like,
yeah, jumping
Yeah.
up and down. So he's good. He's a good boy.
Oh yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
now we're on a fight that I'm actually torn with.
Alright.
Oh, I know which one.
Yeah, I know where I've put him.
I have trouble because as much as I really like the concept, like I like the fact that he has that big intermission phase with like a billion mechanics.
Yeah, King Thornton's pretty good.
Yeah, he is King Forden is a great fight, but I feel like even though they tried to make all of the different like boys in the middle phase have personalities, I feel a little bit like he could really benefit from having a like new version of that fight. Like if he was a ultimate fight where
Yeah,
each
I think
of
he's gonna be
the
the next ultimate.
if he was the next ultimate and each of the knights of the round was an actual character that had its own set of mechanics while you fought them, I feel like he would be like rare air. But as it is, I'm putting him in the is alright because of
I had him in all images.
I personally have him in the rare air.
I can see
Yeah.
why. He
Yeah,
is
I can see why. Yeah.
It's on content as well.
yes
Like
on
he was
content.
so hard. It was so much to think about, and he was like really tough. Like
Yeah.
with the DPS as well, and all the things you had to do, and you had to stand in the towers, you had to dodge this and that,
Yeah.
you had the chains, and you had the different
The
ads.
Heavenly Hill as well.
Yeah, like everything. Like there was in the
He's really cool.
eye.
Yes, the big dragon's eye where he does multiple
Yeah.
don't look mechanics at once. Like he is
Yeah.
extremely cool. The issue I have with him is the same issue I have with another fight on here, where I feel like the ad phase happens so early and lasts for so
Yeah.
long that it kind of like going for an extra pull with him and wiping to like the second mechanic after the ad phase. I would get so frustrated at that fight.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like for me, that's so redeemable with everything else going on.
Yeah,
Like, and also his design is great.
of course.
The
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
arena design
Yeah.
is great, and the music is
And
absolutely super.
the transition into the last phase where he knocks you
Yes.
back repeatedly and then the glass shatters on your screen and
Yes.
there he is.
Yeah.
It's like so imposing. He is incredible. But I just, in terms of if I was farming him, I wouldn't be able to put him in top tier because of like I would go in. I imagine going into Party Finder of like a farm party and doing the entire ad phase and thing correctly, and then dying to like Holy Hill or something and having to do it all again and just
Yeah, but
it's just
he is one of those fights which is like one of those super satisfying ones.
of
Yes,
course.
yes, you know, like
When you
yes.
down him, it must have been incredible.
Yeah, like I don't know, like it was such a special feeling, and all those mixed into it. Like
Yeah.
you might not expect that from me, I guess, but that's why he is almost the top one.
Okay.
All of those things,
I-
like he's still under Shiva, but like they're in the same category
Yeah.
for me.
I can
Okay.
see why for sure, and I think if I'd done it on content, I might have had a better appreciation for him.
Yeah,
But
you would
it is-
probably hate him as you would probably have like the Titan relationship that I have, like
Maybe.
love and
I
hate.
mean, I like getting him in roulette now because like you go in and he just doesn't.
Yeah,
work.
but back in the
but-
day, no.
Yeah.
I actually don't like getting him in roulette that much because I want
Really?
to see more of him.
Fair.
Like I genuinely think that he is really like if he was in the space where Nidhogg was, so he has a little bit more health and like because I feel like when we got later into the Heavens Ward, they started putting out fights that were a lot more like conceptually, well, not conceptually because he is pretty conceptually difficult. I don't know. I feel like they kind of perfected the formula over time of like what makes a trial really fun to do. And I feel like if he had had that little bit more time in the oven, he would have been cooked to perfection.
Yeah, but they couldn't have a fight that would like overwhelm Nidhogg
Yeah.
fight or like stand over the Nidhogg one, and I think that's why
Yeah.
he is a little less
Yeah.
than Nidhogg in that sense.
Yeah. I mean,
Because he wasn't the main bad guy of Heaven's Ward. The
Yeah.
main bad guy was Nidhogg.
and
that's
that's
the
who
thing.
we're talking about next. Good transition, Emma.
Yes.
Right. Nidhogg for me, to be honest, is
S.
S.
The rare air. For me.
That's real good. I'm putting him in You Are Doing the Thing below
Yeah,
Ravana
same.
but above
Okay.
Garuda because I genuinely think he's a good fight. But it's another one where I think that I think that he's one of the few fights where I love to do the normal mode, but the extreme is slightly more frustrating. Like normal mode, that fight feels so fun. Like every time I go in there, I'm hyped. But then the weird now phase in extreme and stuff, I'm kind of like, I could live without it.
The extreme one.
Yeah.
It took me like I didn't like I cleared it once on
Mm.
content. and then I was like, no, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
It was like, it is a good fight.
Yes.
But it was so incredibly unforgiving,
Yep.
and like there was so much, and every time you got like the hardest part about it
Mhm.
was like placing the puddles right,
Yeah.
and also
What, during the Bomberman bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then the like the ball thing, like where you have to DPS down
Yeah.
the two thingies in the
two
ground.
nows. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like
I didn't like that.
and there was so much, and like it was so unforgiving, and everything hurt so much. Like it was terrible, actual fucking terrible. I would have probably had him higher, but I just
you
felt
feel
like
that his difficulty was kind of too much for what you were getting out of doing him?
yeah, like in a
Yeah.
way, yeah. Like
I
the
agree.
weapons
And
were cool, but it wasn't cool enough.
when you get him in trial roulette, it's always a good time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's why he is in.
Yeah.
You're doing the thing.
He's doing the thing. So
Yeah.
Satoru, why is he like top bombing for you?
Okay, so during the story,
Okay.
I really liked studying.
Okay.
So when it came down to you're basically fighting for a student's life kind of thing, I like that whole time I was like we have to do this kind of thing,
Yeah.
and then like his music's also like so feel like the feels is like so much in that fight. I think during that time I was like so invested in the story. I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, this is where it's come to.
Yeah.
That, and the fight itself I found really fun. And
Yeah, but the extreme
his,
fucked it up.
no, that's true. But like his bird is also the prettiest one at them all.
That's because you really like purple
I
as well.
disagree.
Yeah, it's because purple's the best color.
I
disagree.
like Sophia's bird a lot because it's gold.
Yeah, and my favorite bird is actually Thordan's bird. 'Cause it's like pink.
Yeah. I didn't know you
So-
had such a crush on Thordan. I'm learning more about
Yeah,
you all the
Didn't know
time.
this.
Alright.
So
And now we're talking about Emma's namesake, Goro himself. Sephiroth. Now, he is incredibly cool, incredibly strong, and his transition might be like because
one of the best ones there is.
yeah, like when
It's
he
really great.
falls off the side and comes back and the music kicks in, it
Yeah.
makes you like you feel intimidated.
Yeah, which is it's great. Really like his fight.
I do
The-
too, but I'm gonna put him in all languages.
Same.
Okay, Adam is all right. Low, it's all right. But
Yeah,
Adam is
he's higher than Leviathan for sure, but I think that the problem, he's one of Max's favorite fights, and like I really like him, and I like his music, and I like almost everything about him. I just feel like I like his like phase 1 mechanics a lot.
Uh-huh.
I don't like the ad phase. I think that's like, it's one of those ad phases that is like Seiryu's ad phase, where it's just like kill the things in this order and heal. So it's kind of like, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't really do a lot other than hit.
It's fair.
And then the final phase, I think the coolest part of it is when you have to get knocked up.
Yeah, that is really cool when he like does the arm sweep and you have to get pushed to the air. Yeah, that's great.
But and like other sort of his little knockback things he does as well, where you have to be next to the blue thing. But those mechanics are too few and far between. Most of his mechanics are like it feels like he should be doing more like big punches and stuff. Like he should be using his overwhelming power more than just like summoning plant stuff.
Fair.
I don't know. He's there. He's I like him.
Okay.
And now, should we move on, or does anyone else have anything interesting to say?
I don't have any comment on him.
He's
to be
just
honest.
there.
Okay.
Right, now we have a difficult one for me because this was content when I started.
Sophia.
So when
Okay.
I started the game, everyone was talking about Sophia and how her music was great and like how beautiful she was. And let's be honest, she probably has some very nice feet.
She has very nice tits. Yes.
Okay,
I
well,
didn't
that
say
was
it,
good.
but like I'm not disagreeing with it either. Golden Grey Lady is pretty. She's pretty hot.
Pretty.
Yeah,
She's pretty.
yeah, yeah. I,
Can you bring equilibrium?
I
Worries
like
is
I like a lot of what she does, and I'm putting her at the top of It's Alright.
I've
Personally.
heard at the very top of Human All Amateurs.
Well,
Yeah.
you guys, I have her in the rare air.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, were you around when it was like
Yes.
content?
Yes, of
Then
course.
that explains a lot because I think that if you were doing it on content, it is the rare air sort of fight where everything about it kind of just feels like a flowing fight. Like when I do it, I feel good.
Yeah. Well,
But
her song
yeah,
is absolutely incredible,
10 out of 10 for
especially
sure.
when
Mm.
you listen to the lyrics to it.
Hmm.
Oh, I've done that
Yeah, yeah.
for
Yeah.
equilibrium. It's a good, very good song.
Yeah, and the mechanics she has are very, very nice, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
I
Like,
agree completely.
Ad face is annoying, but
Well, no. Ad phase is really
no, the
cool.
ad face, yeah,
Mm.
because you
And
have to like do it in a certain order,
do you
and
remember
like
the order?
I remember the order.
Okay.
Are you asking me?
I'm asking anyone.
Oh well,
Uh,
first you have to do the mage,
I was about to say it was on you go.
and then you have to do the God, what is it called? What are they called? I don't remember what they're
One,
called.
The
three, two.
demiurges.
Yeah, and then it's the one which because you bring them in a certain order. God fucking damn
Do
it!
you want to know the order?
I know the order. I just
Okay.
don't know what it's called.
The way I remember it is the same as in Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. 23 is number 1. So 2, 3, and then 1.
Yeah, exactly like that.
And I love it because of the fact that my first ever game I played was Ocarina of Time when I was like a little baby, and the 23 is number 1 is the code that you need to get into the first boss. So it's like
Yeah.
ingrained in my mind. So that fight, I was like, I can do this mechanic.
But also the fact that you had to keep track of the mega ball and the small balls
Yeah.
and like
Math.
how like where are we gonna stand? It's gonna be a long one, it's gonna be a short one, and
Yeah.
like you had to like really we had our healers
Hmm.
keep track of that.
Were you the healer?
No, I wasn't healing then because
Okay.
at that point I had been forced down from my healing spot to summoner again. So
Okay.
like the DPS and the tanks just did their thing while the healers were healing, but also keeping track of the balls.
The boards. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you that she's definitely like high tier. Also, the fact that she's beautiful doesn't hurt.
Yes, absolutely. Her design is incredible.
Yeah, and her weapons are super cool. I'm still
Yes.
using the Dark Knight sword I got from there, and I love the weird ninja daggers that are like
Oh yeah,
dodgy as
they're pretty
hell.
cool.
hmm
But I would say that for me, because I tried to do it like on content and it was very difficult for me, I'm like, I couldn't do that. I was bad. So she's slightly lower for me.
Yeah, well, she is an incredible fight as well,
Yeah.
and it's also one of those fights when you actually really finally manage to do it. It's also very like you
Yeah.
feel this sense of satisfaction.
Yeah. Like it isn't like when we killed E7 and it was like, oh, cool. Now we can move on. It was
It's
like,
like, oh, okay,
yes.
this was it. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, she's definitely higher tier. I just because I never actually cleared her on content and I never got that far into the fight
Yeah.
because I was PFing and stuff. I can't place her higher, although when going into her, I really enjoy it. Like I
My
enjoy her.
girl's in the rare air.
I'm gonna bump her up to you are doing the thing just below, no, just above Garuda, I think.
Yeah,
Because
I agree.
yeah. Now Zervan.
I
He's already placed now on mine.
Yeah, well, I
Really
have him in. Can we don't?
Yep.
Because he's so forgettable for me as well.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care about him at all. I have no. I'm not gonna. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't care. Like, I forget about him. Always forget he even exists.
Same. But
That's all I can say.
I remember trying to progress him on Machinist back in Heavensward when he was like new, and the skip store and disband mentality I think ruined Party Finder, and trying to actually get a group to fight him was so frustrating. And like I liked Biting Halberd and Sire Circle and whatever the other one was called, Towend I think it was.
Hmm.
Like I liked all of his like in-out mechanics and get behind, and I liked the maybe by I like the move where you had to move, like the Twister move where he put ice underneath all the players.
Yeah, but
Like
at the same time, it felt like it wasn't anything really new.
yeah, I mean I would
It
say
wasn't
that
anything special.
yeah, and the fact that like his big like after post phase change mechanic was literally standing the color thing with your like friend.
Yeah.
It was really kind of underwhelming. I never cleared him on content because like I wasn't skipping Saw, so I was disbanding. So yeah, how about you, Satoru? Where's he?
Ivan is alright.
I mean, he is sort of.
Because,
His music's okay.
I didn't go into that fight till, like, late Stormblood, I think.
Yeah,
Hmm.
And
you were getting your relic weapon. I don't doubt.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, actually. um,
The amount of times I cleared that first time for people when they were doing their relic
Yeah.
weapon.
my first time wasn't with you, but
No.
no, I really like the idea of his like fire and ice kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And how like you see him when you first see him and he's like in the center, and then
That's
when he,
my
like,
favorite part.
and when he breaks out, you see he's actually this like bigger like being.
His big like chimera-looking demon
He's
thing.
like big ass, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, he is cool.
Yeah, I think he's really cool. I also really like his second phase music. Sad that you could not get it, but
I mean that's the same with me and some other fights.
Yeah.
But
So I've put him there because I think he's pretty fun. I think I've only had him once or twice in the trial roulette, and I've been happy every time I've been in there with him.
yeah, pretty much. Like I mean, in the I mean, can we don't? I think that he was incredibly toxic for the game.
Fair. Okay.
Like on content, he was virtually unclearable for me. Like I think I cleared him 1 day before, no, 2 days before Stormblood came out for the first time. So it was still relatively on content, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. It was still the newest trial.
I got carried by a bunch of people who were actually good at the game.
Mm-hmm.
So like, as much as like I think that he was incredibly toxic for the game, but I also think that some trials should be because of it gives at the time it was giving the players who have cleared Savage something to do.
Yeah, but I don't care about him.
No, I don't care about him either. I think that I think he was one of the worst things that ever happened to Party Finder.
Yeah, I don't have an opinion on him. He's just so forgettable for me.
Yeah, and then now we enter Stormblood, and Satoru suddenly starts becoming relevant. He woke up.
Pretty much.
In Heavensward, I don't think like I think I may have done like a normal trial with you like once.
Yeah.
But then the first boy. I can't put him anywhere but the rare air.
The rare air.
His music and mechanics in Extreme, where you had to dance between the two things and like position yourself to get knocked back, like all of it felt like a festival. And like even in normal, when you were the little machinist leveling for the first time and you blocked the sword with your gun, it was like Ah, although the fact that it did have a bug that stopped people from progressing past him for like a day and a half if they were too slow to get to him was a little bit of a problem. But
Yeah.
I was not one of those people because I was zoom 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 zoom. And he, when I first saw him, I knew that Stormblood was going to be an amazing expansion. Like everything about him just kind of worked, and he, to be honest, he's below Shiva because of what Shiva is conceptually and what Shiva's mechanics are.
Yeah,
But
I have him under Shiva.
but in
Just
terms of mechanics, I put him like he's a Titan fight
yeah, he's
for me.
great.
Like the way you do his mechanics and the way you operate inside of his boss arena feels so much similar to like Titan compared to other boss fights. He's just like my boy. And of course, like if you've ever met Bill from like last week's podcast, it was last week, wasn't it?
Mhm.
It feels like it's been forever. He loves the weapons from there. Every single weapon is like, ooh, Susanoo weapon, best weapon.
It's just not like
I
Well,
glitch Susanoo 1 content. Ha ha ha.
for me, he's in the you're doing the thing.
Yeah.
Because like he's a good fight, he's a fun fight, he's cool, good introduction to Stormblood,
Mhm.
and the best part of his fight is the big ass sword.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's really
But
great.
but he's not in the rare air for me
Mhm.
because he was quite easy.
Yeah, but I,
Yeah,
I,
he
I
is
liked
quite
his
easy.
difficulty because for the first trial
First
of the
fight
tier,
of the yeah, agreed. First trial of the expansion. I think he's pretty alright.
I
Yeah,
think
but like
he,
he's not top tier for me.
I mean, pulling back the curtain a little bit, Innocence in comparison to him and Titania in comparison to him, I think are way less interesting. So he kind of gets bumped up by the fact that when you do him compared to more recent trials that are in his position, he is a shining star of what it means to like be an introductory fight. And I think I can't say anything really bad about his fight other than maybe when you first do it and you get trapped inside a stone and they kill the wrong stone and you look at them like, why are you here?
But for me, it's a good fight, but there are better ones.
Of course,
Of course,
and,
there are better ones, but I still think it's a really great fight.
and
Yeah, well, that's why he's in You're Doing the Thing.
and
for me.
for me, the next one, for me, this is the worst fight in the game. Lakshmi is the worst fight they've ever put in the game.
For me, she's in in all languages.
No,
Like-
she's in. I mean, can we don't for me.
The reason is, for me, they literally got the ability to put the role of the duty action in the game, and they were like, let's make a whole fight around pressing a button on the screen.
Yeah, well, I didn't mind it. Like it was like it's not a forgettable fight because the music,
The
does
music
a lot,
it
and
helps her for sure.
yeah, and she has a really good design, and it's a fun concept, but it like didn't hit completely home, and that's why she's like kind of okay, like for me.
Yeah, I just think that none of her mechanics outside of the tank buster like cleave thing that the second in aggro gets, like outside of the like that, I don't think she has any mechanic that I'm like, oh, that's like worth seeing. You know, it's kind of like the ad phase is so boring in Extreme.
Yeah, I like when she presses all y'all into her boobs.
I mean, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like in terms of attractiveness, she is certainly up there. But
No, but I just like it. It's a cool thing.
oh yeah, you like being close to the boobs. It's a cool
No,
thing.
like no. It's more like I like the concept of what she's doing.
Okay.
Well, aside from all the dirty thoughts now, guys.
I mean,
Okay.
you started it a little bit, but no, I kind of get where you're coming from. I think the reason I think it's the worst fight in the game is I literally killed it like 80 times on content,
Yeah.
and I can't stomach being in there for too long now. Next we have the hardest fight that has ever graced the game. Please nerf it, wah! Shinryu himself.
I like the boy.
He's a hum in all languages for me.
Same.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The reason being is when doing it on content, the amount of people that couldn't do it and were like begging to like get carried seemed like he was not balanced for where he was. Then the fact that people could go into him without having their final move on their bar or having any gear, and also the fact that the Extreme Trial came out and I progged it on day 1 and 2 of it existing, and it just felt really like until the last phase where you're on the platform with him, it was literally just staring at the enmity list and being like, "Oh, the wing is casting lightning. I better not stand in water." It felt super like it was like all you had to do to clear that fight was look at the enmity list and like pay attention to your surroundings until the last phase where it actually become interesting, and then the last phase lasted for about like 2 minutes. I think he's just average.
Yeah.
Why do you
Okay.
like him?
Me,
Yeah.
I like him mainly because of his extreme. Actually,
Oh,
like there's actually like a lot of things like out of a lot of ad phases, I actually quite like his ad phase. It's a
okay.
pain in the ass, but I kind of like it.
I kind of like the fact it was the first fight where you got knocked off of a platform to another platform.
Yeah, that
And-
that was awesome. The fact that you have to run off his tail as well, like
He can
It's-
like as a fight, he is a spectacle in
Mhm.
Extreme. Like he is
Yeah.
definitely like in terms of like if you just cut out small clips of him and showed him in like a montage, he would be in the rare air. But unfortunately,
Mhm.
as a actual like to
I put him
actually
in,
do him, he's
you're
a
doing
little
the
bit.
thing.
What did you put him in?
You're doing the thing.
Yeah, where is he low? You're doing the thing or high?
Yeah,
Again?
yeah.
Yeah.
He's in the middle. I only have 3 in there. He's in the middle.
Okay, that makes sense. Tiger Daddy.
Mate. Oh, the rare air. That's
The
what that boy
rare
says.
air. Oh, you. He's only doing the thing.
Yeah.
Is it because the obnoxious middle face?
Yeah, and like, I don't know, the weapons weren't special.
Oh yeah, they were ugly as hell.
Okay, yeah,
Like-
the weapons aren't special, but like, no more game.
No more games. I killed him 80 times in the first 2 weeks of him existing. Got his mount,
I'll be
got
right
the
back. I'm
pet.
being called.
Take your time.
But yeah, I didn't feel like it was anything that special, you know.
I mean, I kind of
Like,
agree with
like
you.
he's a cool fight. He's way cooler than Lakshmi, way cooler than Shinryu in my opinion too.
Mhm. I completely agree.
And there's a lot of cool mechanics in there, and like, but he isn't making the he isn't making the top 3 categories for me.
I mean, I kind of agree. I'm gonna move Satoru out of the channel because he's echoing on me.
Yep.
So I just moved into an AFK channel. I literally just made it. It was like, I kind of agree that he isn't like out of all of the fights that I think are top tier, he's probably like the least interesting. But he has like this special place in my heart because I farmed him so much on content, and I was just like so good at him.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, oh, I just love doing him, and then like every single pull, I would type no more games, and like right before he would say, it, I'd click enter, and every single pie I went into, like would laugh, and it was like it was just a generally good time to
Yeah.
to fight him, and to be honest, his music's kind of cool as well, and
Yeah.
his mount is literally Garurumon.
Oh yeah, I don't have it yet.
We will get that for you. We can free man it, me, you, or Satoru maybe, but it would be better if we dragged another person because.
We
make
can
it
take
easier.
it later some point.
Yeah. Right. Tsukiyomi. I mean,
Gold
Luke is
standard.
gonna. What's that?
Gold standard.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I am putting it in. You are doing the thing just behind Ravana because Extreme she is like really fun and really good to do, and I have so many memories of the Pepsi mechanic.
Yeah, same.
And like I generally really love her design and her phases and her weapons. Like everything about her is really cool.
The arena is lovely, and the
You're not wrong.
music is awesome.
Even
Sorry for that.
welcome back.
I was just
And
being called to make sure I'm not dead.
are you dead?
No, no, I was
Okay,
just
good.
here. It was just the doctor asking if I'm okay.
Fair enough.
So where are we?
Tsukiyomi. Emma has put Tsukiyomi in the gold standard, and I have put Tsukiyomi just below Ravana in You Are Doing the Thing.
No, I have heard top the rare air.
We all have her close to the top. I was saying
Which is gold
everything
standard.
about her is really cool.
Mhm.
The issue I have with her is the fact that the ad phase, doing that like literally 10 seconds into the fight, she goes into the ad phase every single time, feels like you are getting through the ad phase to just wipe to the next mechanic. And then having to go through the ad phase. Although the ad phase music is so good. I just.
You know,
Her music in general
I-
is so good. Her weapons are so good. Like,
Yes.
oh,
But the fact is that I think it's good that the ad phase is where it is,
Oh.
because, like, you know, it tells the story in a
Yeah.
certain way, and that's like what makes it so redeemable
Mhm.
for me.
I
Because
agree.
it tells the story. You're like trying to protect her from like the shit that she's experienced, like the people who are trying to put her down, to hurt her in some way, and like
Yeah.
her past.
Yeah. I think that she
So-
is the best story trial we've ever gotten. For sure.
oh yeah, she's. I was actually almost going to put her in gold actually. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you did it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna bump her up
deserves it.
to the rare air just above Susana because
Well, and our thingy one should be in the gold though.
what's that?
Yeah, for your one, yeah, but in our like collective one, she should be up in the gold where
Yeah.
Titan is.
I mean, yeah, she's definitely the fight that we all probably love the most with the weapons and stuff and the story a bit. Like
Yeah.
it is incredible. It's just when doing it on content, it was always like if you wiped on it, it was like if you were doing a speed run and you got towards the end of the game and died and then had to watch like a 6-minute cutscene at the start of the game again. It would be like a little bit like, can't we just get back to the gameplay?
But she was also a very satisfying kill.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And then when you actually had killed her, like it was so easy to farm her because you kind of know what you were doing. But also, I like personally what plays into the gold standard as well is both the good and the bad memories from it, and like
Yeah.
this, because I feel like it's on this fight that like our raid team like we actually brought out the people who the real potential of our players in the raid group. Like you could see which ones that like you could go on with
Yeah.
in the end, and the ones you couldn't, because it tested your patience and it tested people's like bonds with each other, how long you could last before you were mad at each other and like stuff like that.
It's like they say, don't play D&D with someone you don't want to be in a 6-hour car journey with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically like that.
I don't have that many amazing like memories of a group there because I mainly pugged it with table.
Yeah,
But I will say that doing it with table and talking about the Pepsi mechanic and like it is a very special fight, and I think a lot of people are going to agree like that fight was something special. I just feel like in terms of gameplay, having the ad phase so close to the start was a little bit frustrating for me. I wouldn't have minded it so much if it had literally started with the ad phase.
hmm
But it was the fact that you fought the boss for about 30 seconds and then she cast that spell and it's just like, here's the transition. It's like, okay, I guess I'll AFK, sort of. And I don't know, maybe I just... Maybe I was just annoyed because I was playing healer on that fight.
Maybe.
But we're coming up to another very special fight now.
Yeah.
DDR Extreme.
Stick her into gold. She's my gold.
For me, she
She is?
She's my gold, yeah.
She's rare middle of the pack. She's above Tsukiyomi for me, but below Byaku.
I love. I honestly love that fight and music so much. I actually don't know how many times I did that fight, but like, I don't know what. I genuinely don't know what. I love that fight so much. Like, I think it. Like one of the main parts. It was one of my, like, I think it was the first extreme on content I cleared as well.
I mean, it's always a special one for sure.
Yeah.
But
So,
For
yeah,
me,
she's my gold.
I felt she was like, for me she's in It's Alright, high, like in the very very front in the It's Alright,
Okay.
because like it wasn't like it was pretty tedious in a way.
I love that part of it. The part that was tedious.
Yeah,
I
but
genuinely did.
there was also so much like stupid shit to think about at the same time, and like
and
everyone
latency
had to
was
be
a bit.
yeah,
in that fight.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And like the especially with the ground things, like the
Oh, I
color.
love that.
Like I like it as it is now, but back then I felt like it was so tedious, and like I don't know, like it wasn't as satisfying of a kill. It was nice to kill it, but it wasn't as satisfying as Tsukiyomi, for example.
I think the ad phase on that fight is also very annoying with the birds, and if someone messes up
Yeah.
and kills the bird in the wrong spot, you are guaranteed a wipe, and it's like, can we don't?
Yeah, and
but-
then like the fucking super like boring part where it's like, hello, I'm playing Stepmania.
What do you mean the boring part? That was great.
No,
I
it's like
agree,
you
it's
just
a
stand
little bit.
still, like, okay, I'm turning this way. Okay, never mind, I'm turning this way. Okay, now I'm turning this way.
And that part also had server
Yeah,
tick
that had
things,
yeah,
so
yeah, that
yeah.
too.
if it worked perfectly, I would have been a lot happier with it. But when you actually got 10 on every member of your party, it did feel pretty special.
Yeah,
I will say that the DPS check on it was non-existent, so getting the 10 on
yeah,
it
that's true.
actually didn't matter. I will say that the fight really didn't benefit from the fact that you could arm's length every other second.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if you had to
Yeah,
deal
sure.
with the knockbacks, it would have actually been a way better fight, which I think is a better fight now than it was then.
Yeah.
But I think the overall, like, music and boss design, it's so good. Like, it is one of the...
It's so good.
And the mount looks cool, the weapons look okay. I don't think they're quite as good as Tsukiyomi.
No.
No, they're not Tsukiyomi's weapons, but like
But-
they're still really nice.
I think there's a lot to her that makes her up there in terms of, like, there's a rhythm to the fight and there's movement to the fight that feels
Yeah.
satisfying to do. I would say that I kind of agree with Emma's point of it being a little bit tedious though, because she kind of only has like 2 mechanics.
Agreed.
So
But like,
I'm a little bit...
you just see the tank get kicked over and over again, and you're just kind of like,
Imagine
yes.
not being a warrior.
Yeah, well, it's like, you know, that's the reason why she is so low for me, because it was like, yeah, she's nice. She's fights man.
I love her fight.
I
so
only
much.
ever cleared her with people. Well, the main people I cleared her with, I didn't like.
Oh,
I was doing it because Max had joined their static and they had invited me to join. So I was going to play Red Mage for them, and then they were like, no, actually, we want a machinist. And I was like, I can play machinist. It's just going to
do you know how many times I have backflipped over the edge on that as Red Mage?
I
Yeah.
actually
I got
have
yelled so many times for doing that.
I have a clip actually of that fight of we all died, but then the astral rezzed as she like pulled everyone in, so we all got rezzed and got straight into the hole. It was great.
That it really is the rare air.
It's so
Fuck's
good.
sake.
Like little things like that. I loved wiping to that fight.
I remember Seth also getting into the hole.
You know when he's flushed down into the toilet.
Yes.
Oh no, that fight is certainly like I even though it's in the rare air, I kind of want to bump it down to the top of You Are Doing the Thing.
Mate, gold.
Yeah.
Because you are right, there isn't a lot actually there, and it feels like they kind of phoned it in a little bit.
I mean, I could move it up to the You're Doing the Thing as well, but
I mean, please do. Because like, who's in the It's Alright?
it's all right.
Yeah, who's there?
Or wait, she is in the. I'm sorry, she's in. She was already in You're Doing the Thing.
Yeah,
Never mind.
She is doing the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that she's good enough to be there, but I don't think she's good enough to be higher. I did want her to be higher because I think her boss design is so cool.
Yeah.
And her music is so cool, and her weapons are okay. But I mean, I guess if I had been like Satoru, and that would have been like a highlight of my expansion because of being the first fight he cleared and stuff. Like, I can see why he puts it higher.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, Titan was the first extreme I ever killed.
I mean, it wasn't the first extreme I
sync.
killed. Like I killed
Yeah.
Susanoo, but it wasn't on like content,
Yeah.
whereas Suzuki was.
Mhm.
Okay. Now there's the the one that I think me and Luke are gonna disagree on the most.
You haven't even cleared extreme yet.
No, and like I might never, you know.
It's
You are gonna do it.
Oh
Yeah.
no, you know when you. I think he's in. I mean, can we don't?
I have
Below
him in.
Zerp.
It's lowest. It's all right.
I-
Oh well, for me, he's in. You Were Doing the Thing, right
Yeah, he's-
underneath the Susaku.
He's
Really?
actually a pretty good fight. Like
Yeah.
you know when you were saying about the ad phase before.
Yeah.
It was the ads had stone skin, and like you had to silence that. It was stun it then and stuff like that. Like
You know.
it was a pretty good. I like the whole idea of like getting pushed around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had to
It was-
position yourself in the correct place, and like there was a lot of nice things going on. The music was good, and like I don't know, I liked it. And then you had to like dodge and weave and
Mhm.
like in and out, and like it was like it isn't like a super special fight or anything, but it's a fun
Yeah,
fight.
agreed. Yeah,
I'm gonna
agreed.
put him
It's
up
not
to
super
him
special,
in
but
all
it's very fun.
languages. The main. I think he's fine. I think his design as a character is a little bit sketchy. Like I'm not a big fan
Yeah, okay,
of
agreed, yeah.
him.
But I feel a bit pouty that you're saying that
I've moved him up.
because you haven't cleared it, you know.
I mean, true
Yeah,
enough.
like-
I wasn't really playing at the time that much. The reason I don't think he's that good, though, for me, is because they spent the entire expansion talking about this, like final boy of that like thing, and when you beat him, you literally just see the dog from A Realm Reborn for collecting all the horses.
Fair.
Like I thought that.
That's not fair, by the way. But
okay.
that's nothing against Cyril.
No, of
That's
course,
against
but I feel
Cyril.
like they played it so straight with that set of fights that I'm kind of like like he's okay. I would have liked something a little bit more cooler as the final trial. I mean, it seems they do it every expansion.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm gonna quickly run off, but I have to have an input for the next one. Top of the S tier, just so you know.
um,
Yeah.
so Cape Westwind, Man on the Hill.
It's forgettable.
Luke says it's top of the S tier. I'm gonna put him in the middle of him in all languages because when you get him in trial roulette, it's like it's like getting Ifrit in leveling. It's like this is a quick one and like I can go about my day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that and he is the first 8-man content you ever do.
Yeah, but it's
He's super
same time
underwhelming.
it's like He was still underwhelming back in the day as well, so
Yeah. So I'm putting him in all languages just because. I actually no. I'm gonna bump him down to below Ultima, but above Ifrit in the you really got to think about what you do because
Yeah.
what is he doing now? The Chrysalis.
Actually, it's in all languages. It's a pretty nice fight, and like it's a cool thing, but it's also like, yeah, I did this.
I'm hesitant to put him in all languages, or I mean, can we don't, because almost
Yeah.
every time you go in there, someone does something completely stupid, and you look at
Yeah.
them like, why are you here? Like
Yeah.
it is the ultimate in like I'm a new player and I don't know what I'm doing. Let me just press a button and everyone in the party looks at you like you are making things worse. Like
Yeah.
if you use the LB on the wrong thing in that fight, or if you are the tank and you don't mitigate the triple,
Yeah.
that's it. Everyone hates you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put him very low in all languages because
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, he could even go as low as you really got to think about what you do because I think that for he's a little bit too complex, and I think that like I like his concept, but I feel like if they had made him like a more like normal mode really easy and then like an extreme trial version of him where he's like
Yeah.
cool and does the stuff he does in normal,
Because it's a nice story trial. It is.
yeah. But I think that he's a little bit too. He's kind of like Shinryu. He's a little bit too hard for where he is.
Yeah.
And now we get to hmm, the steps of faith.
He is in the bin.
Yep, he is at the bottom of in the bin, even below Lakshmi.
Delete this from the game.
I mean, I want to add a new tier for him because he deserves it, but like, he can stay on his bridge, and I hope I never get him in another trial roulette as
Yeah.
long as I live.
Yeah. On content, fuck that.
Oh,
No.
on content, he was like the hardest fight as well. Like everything about him led to him being a problem.
Yeah, and also like people didn't know what they were doing, and like people weren't going to do the right thing. People went off and like, oh, I'm gonna go for this ad thing instead of the actual thing I need to do, and like,
Yeah.
no, it was just terrible. I hate everything about it. Please remove from the game.
Yeah, I mean, with nerfs now, you just sort of stand there and hit.
Yeah,
So he's even kind of worse now.
yeah, it's like, why are you even in the game?
Right, now we get on to some of the more difficult stuff, especially for me, because some of these fights I have not yet cleared, but I think we can go through some of these a little bit quickly, like the Chimera.
Forgettable.
I mean, I'm personally putting him in the you really got to think about what you do, because he's just kind of a normal enemy.
Yeah, it's like forgettable.
Yeah. The Hydra, I'm gonna put in the in all languages because I think he's better than the Chimera because of the fear. But the problem I have with,
But it's also a very forgettable fight.
of course, he's at the very bottom. Actually, I'm gonna put him in. I mean, can we don't below Zervan because I genuinely think he is. I like the concept of placing AoEs to avoid covering the safe spot. But
Yeah.
because there's never any indication of any of that in the fight, it's kind of terrible. But I will say that, you know, when everyone places them in all spots, if you are then able to get that, like, one spot near the boss that doesn't fear you, it feels so good. When you
Yeah,
see
but
the
at the same
entire
time,
party
it's
running
like,
around.
it's so forgettable.
Yeah, for sure. He's just a normal enemy. Then, battle on the big bridge.
Battle on the big bitch.
With
Yeah, you gotta think about what you're doing here, yeah.
Yeah. I already put him in there. He's above Cape Westwind, below Ultima for me.
Yeah.
He's like, I mean, I like the concept and how crazy it gets in there with all of the like frogs and chickens and stuff. I just feel like there's kind of no real point.
Yeah.
You just kind of go in there and he's there, and I guess when he was content, he was probably somewhat interesting.
Yeah.
Because like you would get to the end of the story of that and you would see a trial and you'd be like, oh, Like it was
Yeah,
like
but at the
a
same
good
time,
reward.
it was still like, okay, I did this.
Yeah, yeah, of course. But like I like the idea of there being this like hidden piece of content. Like I didn't know that existed for the first year I played the game.
Yeah, but I have the same feeling for Ultros and Typhoon.
I have not actually cleared them.
Oh well, it's like for me, like just below the battle on the big bitch,
I will put them there. I will trust in your judgment.
because it's like, uh,
Yeah,
it's a tedious one.
yeah.
It's like it's also something that you are like, oh yeah, this thing exists, you know?
Yeah, when you get in trial roulette, you look around and you're like, hang on, have I been here before?
Yeah, it's like I've been there. It's like, oh no, okay, it's this one. Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess I'll just do it, you know?
How about battling the big keep or whatever it's called? Because I've never done that one either.
That one is a bit cooler, but it's also like meh for me.
So where would you place it?
I guess in all languages,
Okay.
like at very bottom.
I'll put it there again based on your judgment, but I'm still like Ultras is still sitting there in Uldar for me, so I can go sit with him whenever I feel like it.
Yeah,
And now we get on to Odin.
yeah,
I think Odin is a very interesting fight.
yeah. For me, he's in. It's all right.
I agree. I have put him below Fordan and wait, why is Ramu? Well, no, Ramu is higher than. No, Ramu is below. So like, my is alright goes Fordan, Ramu, Odin. I think that when we went in there unsync just before you joined for the podcast, it was a lot of fun to see what he could do, and then we got to his enrage and we looked at it and it was like, oh,
Yeah,
like
on
it,
content he was hard,
yeah.
like really, really
I
hard.
mean, he can still kill
Uh,
me if I stand in two of his AoEs.
Yeah, and like there was a lot of mechanics and like people were running around with like chickens with
Yeah.
their heads chopped off and like there was
He feels
just
strong.
chaos. Yeah, he like the fight really did show that,
Yeah.
but it's also one of the fights where you're like, I don't have to do this,
Yeah.
and there's no real actual reward.
There's no incentive for actually going and doing it, but
It's like one of those fights you go in and do because like
it's
it's
there.
cool to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the idea of him, and to be honest with you, upon doing him today with Satoru,
Hmm.
I have a better appreciation for him. I think his music's kind of cool. I think that
Yeah.
his actual battle is cool. I don't like how many like dispellable debuffs you get, but like you
Yeah.
get slows, you get bleeds, like it's all crazy. But I think that overall he's okay.
Yeah.
And next we move on to Rathalos, and I think that Rathalos is interesting. I think it's definitely top half. I think it's maybe just above Odin because
Yeah.
of I like as you know from my current project. I love the idea of putting things that shouldn't really go together and seeing if they work.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I agree.
I think he just works as a like novelty fight.
Yeah, I agree. I agree fully.
Yeah, like I never cleared the extreme on content. We got pretty close, but that was when I was sort of not really paying much attention to the game as well.
Mhm.
But and I think the rewards for killing him are not that good. Although I will say, if you go and look at the dyeable panties and dye them in black for female, they're like pretty spicy. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, like I've got some of them in my wardrobe and I will never wear them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think overall he is okay.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, and then finally another fight that I haven't done, so you're gonna lead us out on this one.
Oh,
The what's his name? Yojimbo.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've done it like once,
Mhm.
so I don't feel like you give it any justice.
I mean, the fact that you didn't want to do it anymore
Yeah.
maybe says something about him.
No, it's more like I haven't felt the need to.
Exactly.
It's more like one of those like.
You
I
do it
mean,
once for the
can we
novelty.
don't?
Yeah, that's where
Yeah.
I was hovering him anyway. Yeah, and that's the complete tier list. On screen right now will be a complete version of Satoru and Emma's versions of the tier list, and my version you've been seeing update this entire time live if you've been watching, or you've been listening and you already know where everything is for everyone. But yeah, this has been 2.5 hours. So this is the longest podcast by far, and it is a special bumper edition for us clearing a raid. And, of course, the welcoming of our new member into the Monday Night Clears family.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, we finished. But we are still, we're still live, so to speak.
Okay.
We are just winding down now. Quickly, you are the one who has probably... How many times you killed Yojimbo?
Quite a few times.
Okay, where would you put him?
I put him in all languages.
Okay, so slightly above where Emma put him.
Okay, because he has lots of interesting mechanics and stuff.
Mhm.
You only get mint barding from him.
Hmm.
And I mean, sometimes depending on how you like place things, it can make it like more interesting because like if like someone does something wrong, like you'll still live, but it's like interesting. Yeah, so I put.
That's acceptable. Anyway, we should probably wind this down and move on
Yeah.
with our lives because this is 2.5 hours.
Yep.
It's gonna be I think this is gonna be like everyone is gonna look at the length of this video and be like, in all languages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when Enki last night was like, yeah, your podcasts are pretty long. This one's for you, Enki.
Yeah, Enki.
And good night, everyone, and thanks for watching Monday Night Clears or whatever day this comes out.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.